Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 13th of August 2020. This is The Gap, episode 529. I'm Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and it's a busy week. We got a lot going on. Games and news-wise.
Shit. I don't think I've played, I don't know if I played a lot of games.
You've played a lot of game?
Yes. But I haven't played so much of a game in a fucking long time, man. I don't think I've ever crunched that many hours into a single game in fucking yonks. And then I crunched about half that again into another game. And it's pretty, I don't know. It's a weird week. It just feels like a weird week because it just hasn't happened in fucking ages.
Yeah.
You know?
I've been the same.
Yeah. Surprising. But fun.
Yeah.
Good fun. I mean, yeah.
Good
week. Yeah.
Anything you want to kick off with before we jump into the games?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I watched some films.
Okay.
Films. There is a Deep Blue Sea 2, and I watched it, and it is awful. Awful. I assume you've seen Deep Blue Sea, right?
Yes.
Did we watch it together?
No.
No, okay.
No.
That movie still holds up. Deep Blue Sea still holds up. It's got, just the right blend of, goofy humor and actual slasher horror style to really fucking stay the course over a long period of time. That big fucking speech from Samuel L. Jackson, fucking LL Cool J, not only playing a chef but also rapping over the end credits.
Yeah, right.
Thomas Jane at the peak of everyone's obsession with Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
It was and Stellan Skarsgård. I don't know how the fuck you say his name.
Peter
He
Skarsgård.
was in it. Not Peter. His dad.
Yeah, okay. From Thor.
And the old guy. And the chick. The British chick who was in fucking loads of stuff back then and not in anything since. Feels bad that I can't remember her name. Anyway, the second film has none of that. None of it. It's inexplicably set entirely indoors, which is pretty weird for a movie about killer sharks. But obviously, eventually they flood it. They don't flood the indoors entirely, and they go up to about knee height, and they solve that situation. They solve the problem of, hey, we can't get the water up any higher than our knees. They solve that by making it about baby sharks, super smart baby sharks, but baby sharks all the same, which awful, terrible idea. And then there is a Deep Blue Sea 3. There's a third film. It's a trilogy.
Right, yeah.
Deep Blue Sea 2, I wasn't drunk. I was drunk, but I wasn't that drunk that I couldn't have told you if there was a direct reference, but I didn't notice any direct reference to Deep Blue Sea 1. But Deep Blue Sea 3 directly references not only the first film, but the second film. It's like, oh yeah, that shit's all canon. Everything's canon. This is the fucking Deep Blue Sooniverse, fucking Deep Blueniverse. And all of this shit counts. It's 100%. All of this is super canon. We are going fucking wide with it. And yeah, significantly better film. They actually go out onto the reefs and stuff.
Yeah.
They put some effort in. The chick who plays the super smart chick in Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay.
She returns. She's the main character. She does a good job. I don't know why she wasn't in more stuff. And yeah, it's actually not that awful. But to clarify, I just watched Deep Blue Sea 2, so maybe my calibration is off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. So
75%.
but in saying that, it's also a 36 on the audience score. So
Right, that
there's
makes more
some
sense. I'm starting to think that the critics may have watched Deep Blue Sea 2
in preparation.
before
Yeah.
3. Yeah, it's because they're like, wait, there was a 2? Because that's what I said. Oh, wait, there's a Deep Blue Sea 2? And first of all, how did they not call it Deep 2C? And second of all, how is this one not Deep Blue 3? Like, that just makes a lot of sense to me. But whatever. Anyway, and yeah, I think if you watched them back to back, you would definitely be a lot more positive about 3 than if you watched it independently. As I guess, or the other thing is, it's possible that like fans of the series are like, oh, what? Like one measly, like simple reference to Deep Blue Sea 2, and that's it. But that's a modern classic. And that, like, why aren't they indoors? They spend barely any time indoors. I don't understand. And then, they write it off. They're like, this is nothing like the Deep Blue Sea I remember. When what they actually remember is Deep Blue Sea 2.
No, I don't think anybody remembers. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, if you feel like watching something, 2 films that back to back add up to one below average film, Deep Blue Sea 2 and 3. Do it to it. You could even marathon all 3, and you probably get to around a 6.57 out of 10 overall, just based on how good Deep Blue Sea 1 is.
But also, if you start drinking during the first one, by the time you get about halfway through the second, you'll start to feel it. You'll be like, oh yeah, this alcohol's kicking in.
No, you would think that, but I was actually pretty loaded before I even started Deep Blue Sea 2.
Yeah.
And I did have a 20-minute nap apparently during Deep Blue Sea 3. Yeah, I think if you started at Deep Blue Sea 1, by the time you got to Deep Blue Sea 2, you'd be too drunk because it's a pretty long movie. And by the time you got to Deep Blue Sea 3, you would fall asleep like I did.
Right.
But it was good. Like, I didn't have any bad drinks or anything. So, that's obviously good.
Nice. Awesome.
Good times. Anyway.
Is that it? That's it? You just the one film?
That's all I got.
Fair enough. Have you seen this film called Host that just came out?
No. Tell me.
Right. It's exclusive on Shudder. I don't know if it's out in Australia.
Oh, I think Shudder just came out over here.
Right. Shudder is a streaming service, but they pretty much exclusively do like horror films. And so this is a film that's on that, and it's been filmed during the pandemic. And it's basically set in a Zoom call where a group of friends attempt to do a seance with a clairvoyant type thing. And that's the premise of the film. It's like a found footage sort of paranormal activity sort of ish film where it's like static cameras.
I can already guess as to why I haven't seen this film because it sounds fucking idiotic.
It's pretty good fun. It's good fun.
Okay.
I think it was like the most popular film on Letterboxd this week. And
right, because nothing else. Isn't that like those dudes like bought out a fucking theater? Did you see this shit? These dudes bought out all the tickets for a single theater and like won the box office for 1 week while America was shut down.
Yeah.
Because nobody could go to the cinemas. So the only thing that aired, the only fucking thing that screened in the US box office was like this one fucking movie.
Yeah.
And so they won the US box office for they were the top number one film in the US for a single week at like $520 or some shit. Like,
right.
Yeah.
This film's got a score of 100% at the moment. Critic and audience score is 78, so it's doing all right.
Right.
So that's called Host. It's on Shudder. I think you can probably do like a free trial. That's what we did when we watched it. It's like a 7-day free trial. But I got a lot of good horror movies. We watch a lot of horror movies, so it's probably something we'll eventually subscribe to because there's a lot of good stuff on there. Like, have you seen Mandy? The Color of the Space, I think it was called. That was another
Color Out of Space.
Yeah, that one.
Another Nick Cage film.
Yeah, that's on there.
Just have the Nick Cage back catalog.
I think it does.
On there and
Con Air.
You're like, oh shit! Finally, somewhere for Nick Cage to be free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Alamo Drafthouse over here is doing theater rentals as well, where you can rent out an entire theater for like $150, and they're showing. They're not new films. They've got like a selection of films, but there's like The Matrix on there and things like that. That'd be pretty cool. But at the same time, I guess you're renting it out for people that you know, or that some sort of. I think the minimum was 10 people or something. Like it was quite. Like I'd pay $150 normally just to go see a fucking standard film sometimes without a crowd. not at Alamo. Alamo is pretty good in terms of getting rid of dickheads, but anywhere else, easy.
How much would you pay to see Tenet?
$20, I think. It'll be out on streaming soon, so it's fine. No, I think they're releasing it on streaming in like 2 weeks.
Tenet?
Yeah.
Tenet? Yes. No?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Over here they will.
They will not.
Absolutely.
Nolan has said over and over and over again that he will not. It is a cinema film, and he will not release it to streaming first. He's just
not first, but it'll be like a 2-week wait.
2-week wait, you reckon? 2-week wait.
Yeah. Because it ain't happening over here. I'm telling you.
Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 9 a.m. And I am in. I'm gonna buy fucking Lux tickets and I'm gonna wear a mask and a hazmat suit, and I'm gonna fucking pipe audio into my fucking hazmat suits. I don't give a shit how I have to do it. And by the time I get out of the cinema, the suit will be filled with my farts, and there's not a lot I can do about it. That's the world we live in.
Right.
Anyway,
video games.
2 weeks. I feel like we need. I want to put something on this. Something on this. There's no way it's 2 weeks. So when do you reckon you'll get it? When do you reckon you get to see it? Right?
When is it coming out?
Early screened on the 22nd and 23rd here. No, August. So next weekend is preview screenings, and then I think it's officially out on the 27th, 28th.
Yeah, and then we got it
over here
the next week. So we get it.
And you reckon September. you got it the first week of September? Is that what you reckon?
No. In the US, it's releasing here September, and I think by the end of September it will be out on streaming.
I thought it wasn't releasing at all in it.
Yeah, it's releasing a week later in America. September 3rd is the date.
Really? And you reckon 2 weeks after that you'll have streaming?
I reckon by the end of September it will be out on streaming. They will realize their mistake and be like, "We fucked up."
Your date keeps shifting backwards. Like, if I keep asking you when you think it's going to be out.
Yeah, November. By November, it'll be out by November.
I swear
it'll be out before Halo.
January 2022. Well, yeah, that is right. Fucking hell. Shit. You know why they delayed Halo, right? They're going to add a Battle Royale.
All right.
They said, there will absolutely categorically be no Battle Royale mode. And everyone was like, are you guys fucking dumb? Do you know what's popular? Do you understand how fucking video games work? Battle Royale is everything.
And all
like, delay the game. Delay the game. And everyone's like, they're fixing the graphics. That's what they're doing. No, they're creating a Battle Royale mode because they know where the money's at. They know exactly where the money's at. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Let's talk about some video games.
Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. I got my first win today, which was my second game of playing it. I had 9 minutes on record on Fall Guys, and I jumped in and got a win, and I was like, cool, I'm done. That's it.
Finished.
Well,
job well done.
Yeah. The I like that there's I didn't realize this, but the actual cosmetic store, you can buy hats and different costumes using this in-game currency that they've got. So when you play, you get purple coins.
Cosmetic stores, right?
Right, yeah, but they've also got a second currency for when you win, you get this little crown, and you can spend the crown to buy, I guess, unique items, or at least there's like an item that is like 1 crown, and you can get this skin. I think that's pretty cool.
It's a good idea.
It'd be interesting if, like, I don't actually know how that works in terms of if it's just like a rotating system in terms of like, oh, now this color is just 1 coin today, or 1 crown. Or if it's like, no, this is purely like, in order to get this cosmetic, you need to have this many wins. I think that's more interesting, because then you can sort of build up this.
You do get crowns out of the battle pass as well.
I did see that, yeah.
Just to clarify. So you don't have to win to earn this stuff necessarily. If you play enough, you can still get it via the battle pass, which I think is actually a good thing, because, winning in Fall Guys, despite Luke's evidence to the contrary, is a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
I was playing with Grey Squirrel the other day, and I was fucking losing it. I chucked a video up of my perspective, and then Squirrel chucked his perspective up as well, and it was hard to tell because he recorded it on, I don't know, fucking Fraps from fucking 1999 or some shit, using
a camcorder.
Yeah, and he edited it using fucking Windows Movie Maker or something. But yeah, it's hard to tell in 240p, but like the vision that you see on his screen and the vision you see on my screen are so fucking wildly different. On my screen, I'm ahead of him the entire time. On his screen, that's not the case at all. And yeah, it's just so weird to see how that one plays out. Yeah, just, I don't know, man. They got to do something about the fucking networking in that game. I understand that they're a small company, but like the game hinges on its networking. And I guess I talked about it a couple of times. Like, for me, right? Yeah, I can accept being screwed over by the game in a way that I can see.
Yep.
I can accept being screwed over in tail tag after, by having the fucking tail for 89 of the 90 seconds required, and then having it robbed away from me at the last second, and then like losing. I can accept it. I mean, I'll spit. I'll fucking rage out because that's what I do. But like, I can get past it. But yeah, if it happens because of network lag,
yeah, I
can't like get past that. I can't get over that as easily, and so normally I just have to sort of fucking I mean, the very next game I won. I think it was the very next game I won, and my shadow play fucked up. Shadow play is fucking up more and more these days. I don't know what the fuck's going on with NVIDIA, but that shit's fucking up way more than it ever used to. If someone
can I tell you something? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
but it could be relevant. Because one thing that I've noticed is, because I use a VPN quite a bit, because I need to sometimes connect back to home Australia to do certain things. If I use my VPN, my shadow play stops working. Like, it flat out won't let me record. It's got some sort of block on there. Because when you log into GeForce Experience, whatever, they've got like a sign on now.
Yeah.
And so if it's, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it's doing. It must be blocking that app or something. Like, because the moment I switch on VPN Express, I lose all GeForce. Like, I can't record anymore. I can't do captures. I can't stop. And at the moment I switch it off, it instantly turns back on.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's like sometimes if it like loses connection or something, it's doing weird stuff. But that's one thing I've noticed. If I'm using my VPN, I can't record footage, which is a bit shit. Because I was like, because I would connect to Australian servers to play with you guys, get like a little bit better ping. But
Yep.
apparently, I can't record footage doing that. So that's a bit shit. Anyway,
That is shit.
I agree with you. It's gotten worse over time.
I am surprised that nobody's come out with a third-party solution yet. Because like, can AMD graphics users? They've got like a version of it, but it's garbage, isn't it? Like,
I have no idea.
and I'm pretty like, I Shadowplay being as easy as it is a huge part of what keeps me with Nvidia. I mean, I'm waiting for the 30 series cards. But if I could get some sort of fucking third-party solution and switch to AMD, I probably fucking would, to be honest. Because I'm so fucking jack of all of Nvidia's fucking garbage. Like the amount of stuff, like that fucking sign-in shit, right? And the password they've like, where the fuck do they get off requiring a password to be 9 characters? Get the fuck out of here, right? Require it to be 9 characters for what? Some fucking shitty fucking login. Oh my god, get the you fucking turds. Like they drive me fucking bananas, eh? Like obviously they make good hardware, but everything else they do is it reminds me a lot of fucking Telstra cable back in the day. You know, and you'd be like, well, it's the best internet I can get, but God, I'm going to eat it on fucking every other level. If anyone else came out and did vaguely the same thing they did, I would switch in a fucking heartbeat. And then people started doing exactly that. People started, you know, Optus tried to do their own game servers, and obviously Games on Net had their own game servers, and they were trying to do basically identical to what Telstra did, but with better versions of it. Obviously, Games on Net was nowhere near as good as Game Arena, but you know, for a long time they didn't have a great editor, so you can't really hold that against them. And eventually, they did get a good one. But anyway,
sorry, just going back to the graphics card as well. They announced the next event is happening very soon. So it looks like the rumors about the 30 series coming out in September are true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. September would be good. If it came out in September, that'd be nice. It'd give me a 2-month buffer to then buy 2 fucking game consoles, presuming the Xbox Series X actually makes it out in November at this rate, because I don't know what the fuck it's coming out with.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Edition of NBA, I suppose. But yeah, like,
so what are you running at the moment? A 2070 or something?
1070.
1070. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were on 2070 something. Yeah, nope. That's probably a good upgrade. I mean, by then, you'll get the all the ray tracing stuff.
Yeah.
I think for me the big thing will be like, do they do this presentation and they're like, hey, by the way, here's what we're doing with like DLSS 3.0 or whatever. Because 2 to 1 was such a massive jump, and if they keep pushing that AI technology on those NVIDIA cards, like that's the thing that's kind of leaving AMD behind with their line of graphics card, is that they haven't tapped into this using AI chipsets to make some of this anti-aliasing technology run a lot better. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious to see like what their solution is in these consoles. Compared to what Nvidia is doing, because they're just blowing them out of the water with this sort of stuff. So I'm really curious to see what these cars look like going forward, and how expensive they're going to be, because they got no competition at this point. Like they're just Nvidia's just stomping. They can charge as much as they want. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Although I'm probably going to go another fucking AMD CPU. I'll tell you what. When I do my upgrade, because AMD's fucking clomping Intel at the moment on price to performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, graphics, there's no comparison. I mean, it's such a problem, because you cannot possibly compete. As much as they piss me off with all the little shit they do around their card, it's just that much better. And you're like, well, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Anyway.
So the point of that was Fall Guys. You need a 30 series graphics card for Fall Guys.
I need a 30 series. Yeah. Fucking. Yeah. So my recording fucked up, and but no. Squirrel capped it, and yeah, I won the next game. Another fucking full mountain, and you hear at the start, you can barely hear it because for whatever reason, his cap software. I think he's on Shadowplay as well. Caps like the music layered over itself, so it sounds like the Fall Guys music, like happy and fun and funny and stuff. Yeah, it sounds like that, but it's chopped over each other itself, so it sounds like fucking psychotic. It's insane. Anyway, he capped it, and you can't super hear it very well, but just in the background you can hear. And I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't fucking matter. And like you can see, I actually don't start the race at the start. I'm like
standing
5 seconds away from the start because I was actually like dicking about. Alt tabbed. I was like writing a message. And I alt tab back in. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, fucking, and I win it. Which I think sums up Fall Guys to me. Yeah, when I try, I fail, and when I don't, success. Yeah, it's pretty much life. Anyway, yeah, so I got that win. I didn't feel like I deserved it, and then yeah, I didn't have a lot of luck in the rest of the games, but I still like, yeah, I have fun with it. But it's a game that I play a couple of rounds with if other people are playing.
Yeah,
and yeah, I have fun, and then I tilt, and then I stop playing.
It's done pretty well on the PlayStation. The number that I saw going around was 8 million players at the moment, which is 8 million active players on the PlayStation. That's insane. That's a lot of people. So obviously that sort of paid off for them, that whole make it free. Because like even though it's free, you've got that huge store in there as well. People are still spending money that probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So it seems pretty successful. They did a new, or they're putting in a new map. I don't know if it's in there yet, but a new end, like last level. Did you see this yet?
Yeah, this was, I won this twice in the beta.
It's the jumping one.
Technical alpha, yeah. I did like a goofy review, as I said I was going to. It's up on the Gap, thegapodcast.com. In it, probably the most serious review I made was of Jump Club. This is just a variant of Jump Club.
The floors disappear, right?
Yeah, the floors disappear. But yeah, that's pretty easy to deal with. Yeah, in it I said I don't understand why anyone ever loses on this level, and it's true. I've got a video of this final level where me and the other guy, so it was me and one other guy, and we legit just jump over the bar for fucking, I think it's 90 seconds until he finally fucks up and I win. And we probably could have done it forever. I don't know how the fuck they sort that out because, yeah, I don't know what are you supposed to do? Like, drop that final platform, right?
Just make it go quicker, spinning around. I don't know.
Still, I don't think it ever reaches a speed at which it's a problem, right? Like, unless
it'll be a problem eventually.
Yeah, unless it's a helicopter speed or some shit. Like, then the only way to see it actually rotating is with your 144 hertz monitor, and if you've only got a 120 hertz monitor, I'm afraid it's like what they call it when. Like, it looks like a helicopter's rotors aren't moving because it's like frame locked with the speed of the fucking, Anyway, unless that's the case, yeah, I don't think that it ever reaches a point where it's too fast because, yeah, that'd be ridiculous. Anyway, Yeah. I'm still having fun with it, but yeah, just dipping in and dipping out as a sort of palate cleanser between other games.
Yeah, it's good. Like,
Yeah,
jump in, have a round, see you later, type thing.
yeah,
All right. Should we move on? We got Idol Slay here as well. I'm still playing that one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm at the bit where I think you said there was a wall last week, so I think I'm in that section. I feel like I'm about to get out of it. So this is the Idol game on. I'm playing it on Android at least.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so at the part I'm at, I'm about to get the gloves, the ambidextrous gloves, and then once I get that, I feel like I'll be over that wall. The other thing I need to get is the 800 point legendary. I think it's 0.5% per achievement unlocked. So that'll be a big boost
Plus
as well.
5%. It's huge.
Plus 5, yeah,
that
for each achievement. Yeah.
For each achievement, yes.
So I think I'm about 100 Slayer points away from that. Probably after this podcast is done, I'll have hit it. So once I get past that wall, then we'll see where else this thing takes us. But
there's more walls.
There's more walls. This wall has been a couple of days.
Yeah. It's the souls that you need more. That you need that 800 more than you need the glove. If you get to 800 before you get the glove, restart immediately because you'll get to the glove a lot faster. And holding out is just pointless. There's a lot. There's quite a bit going into it, but it does feel quite grindy after a certain point. There's another wall shortly after that, I think. Not as big a wall, but it is it's a case. I don't know. I wonder if you've got this branching skill tree that you go down and you pick different things using your soul points, which you get for slaying things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not been picking a lot of the idle ones, and I wonder if that's been directly harming I've been picking the active stuff, and so the game feels like I make a lot more progress when I'm playing actively than when I'm idling. But that makes sense if I'm only picking active fucking talents as opposed to any idle shit. And at the same time, it just feels bad to spend soul points on idle stuff when I could spend, I just spent 1,050 points on a pair of things that will significantly increase my soul gain. And that feels like a smart plan versus increasing my idle by 2% or some shit. I don't know. On the other hand, 2% over the idle times, I don't know. It's tricky.
It definitely feels a lot more active than some of the idle games or clicker games that maybe not as much as a clicker game, but idle games that I've played. In terms of you've got this character who is running across the screen, and it splits up the coins are sometimes at a certain height, and sometimes the enemies are on the ground, sometimes they're flying in the air, and they're not always in the same spot. So you've actually got to actively, I guess, engage with the game a bit more. You've got to get a sense of how, when you should jump and time your jump. And sometimes, it even throws things at you where there'll be a bunch of coins and then directly after the second coin, there'll be some enemies on the ground and you're like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have jumped. I should have stayed on the ground. Yeah. And you, you get pissed off when that happens. You're like, damn it, I should have waited. So I'm starting to learn a little bit more to sort of take my time with it, especially when you start getting the magnet for the coins, and you don't really have to be as precise with those jumps. You can sort of be a little bit more lenient, and so just learning about that. It just feels like it's a bit more active with the skills as well that you can get, the little boxes that pop up, and it's 9 times coins per second, or it'll give you something stupid like 29 times souls, or things like that. And it feels like when you're active in the game, the thing you're talking about, spending more points into that side of it, you do level up a lot quicker. Like you're getting more things quickly. You're getting more upgrades, or you're getting your achievements quicker, or you're getting just sort of the things that the game is trying to get you to spend, as opposed to just letting it idle and then come back in 3 hours and being like, oh, I've got like an extra 100 souls and I can watch an ad to get my double coins and all that sort of thing. So actually playing the idle game seems more efficient at this stage, at least, compared to letting it just idle, which is interesting.
Yeah. Have you bought many of the soul upgrades for idle though?
I'm literally at that choke point where it's got you need 800 souls. And I think the other choke point is like 6,500 or something. There's sort of like two branches, but
I've done everything else outside of that.
I've done everything outside of that. Yeah,
I sort of beeline for 800.
Yeah, I think I've made a mistake there. I got to that part. I was like, oh, I'll get there eventually. It's fine.
Yeah, it must require like fucking 10k souls or some shit. Just or 10k souls for a single point. Like it'd be fucking heinous.
I don't think it's
at your level.
Yeah.
It must be up there.
Well, once you get past the legendary one, I think it's 800. Below that, it's like 450. It's a lot lower. So
yeah, there's a like, so I've got the two below that, 450 and then 600, or is it 650 and 400, whatever it is. I got those two, and that's increased my soul gain quite significantly. And I might go through and fill out the rest of them now. The other thing, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you get that 9 times bonus, if you collect coins, you can reset your boost before you even like finish a boost. But if you do in my experience, 3 boosts is enough time for another box to show up. And if you can get like the fucking 1,000 times your belt percentage or something, plus on top of the 9 times, that's ridiculous. It. That's the money. Like that's basically all I play for. Which I don't know. Maybe that's not the most. Maybe that does, like, that's very active play. Like very, very active play.
That's what I'm doing.
That's too active.
I'm all about the boxes. I get up. I spend like 15 minutes looking for fucking boxes.
There's a double box off the 800 as well that you should have a look at.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you go to like the if you're just soul farming, right? Your best ones, there's 2, like you go through the portal, right? And there's 2 different levels that work best. There's hills, obviously, because you can level up your monsters. You can level up both the bee and the worm to alpha worms and bumblebees, and then beta worms. And I haven't got the fucking next bumblebee yet. But the other one's good is the jungle, because on the jungle, all of the enemies are on the ground.
Yeah,
you've got like mushrooms and worms.
Yeah,
and so you don't have to worry about jumping for enemies,
right?
Which significantly improves your active soul gain, because like without having to jump for worms, there's no for bats or bees, there's no concern about like maybe missing a couple of bees. You just have to not jump if there's any fucking enemies on the screen. And the other thing is, the last update included switch to landscape mode. Have you played landscape mode?
No.
Your life is about to change. It is so much easier to see fucking boxes coming in landscape mode. Holy shit. They no longer appear like milliseconds before you're supposed to jump from. You're like, oh yeah, there comes here comes the box. I'll just fucking wait this shit out. And you're like, boo. It's got like good button placement as well. Like the boost is shifted to the left, so it's sort of just below your left thumb. And
do you have to restart the game to get it to switch?
No, it switches fucking mid-game for me sometimes when I'm like playing in bed and I'll just like lean over too much. It'll just fucking tilts.
Right.
Ta-da! Look. This is riveting audio podcast. How many times am I going to talk about how something's terrible for an audio podcast before I actually do anything about it? I don't fucking know. Not today, ladies and gentlemen. Not today. Anyway, Idle Slayer, still enjoying it. I saw the creator jumped into our Discord to thank us, which is nice. Plab. It was pretty cool, but we don't do it for the glory. We don't do it for the kudos. We do it because we're obsessed with idle games. Anyway.
That's available on Android and also, or at least the Google Store, and on Steam. It's in early access at the moment.
Yeah. It's free on Android. When he jumped into our Discord, I bought the no ads version. And
do you still get the
yeah, you still get double.
Yeah, double. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is wow. This has changed my life.
Yep.
Holy crap! There's a setting in the options menu that you can press that auto rotates it. It was unticked for me. So.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
There's another setting in there to like cap out at rounded up purchases, and it's so much better. It's so much better. You just set it on 50, and you'll auto buy to 50, as opposed to like it doesn't matter how many you've bought. Instead of buying suddenly having 51 or something, you've just got straight to 50 or straight to 10 or whatever your next upgrade requires, which is significantly better. But yeah,
all right, this has changed my playstyle completely because you can see so much more of the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit framey, I feel like.
Oh, it's not for me, but
or it could just be because I'm used to it the other way. It just seems a little slow. That's cool. Yeah, I'll play it like this now. That's a lot better. Anyway, Idle Slayer available now. What else do we have? Risk of Rain 2.
Oh yeah,
is now out officially.
Exited early access.
Yeah, 1.0. This added in a new end level and a couple of other things which I'm trying to find. Joab might know about them more while I keep rambling a little bit. Final stage, new survivor, new items, equipment, and more.
Refined a bunch of stuff. But yeah. It was the big ones are the new final level, the moon, and the final level, the moon boss, whatever the fuck he's called. Plus, once you beat that, you can unlock the captain. I've been reading that it's broken at the moment. That you need high mobility, or you will not finish that last level. Like straight up, cannot finish that last level, which is good because I was playing last night. I got about 35 minutes into a run.
Okay.
And I was playing as the mercenary, the sword guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just fully shit the bed on finding any fucking sprint. And it's driving me fucking bananas. It was because that dude, his entire fucking game is moving quickly, and I just couldn't fucking move for shit. I did have fucking 7 extra jumps for some reason. But yeah, I didn't have much of anything else, and it was just dicking me about. And it's good to know that if I'd made it to like the fucking 3rd stage, and I couldn't find the teleport away. If I'd made it to the 5th stage and then gone to the moon, I would have probably failed on a soft lock jump, or a soft lock distance challenge, platforming challenge. So, I'm glad I fucking bailed when I did to go play Warzone. But, we've talked about Risk of Rain a bunch already. My favorite thing about Risk of Rain 2 exiting early access was when I loaded into the game.
Achievements.
I immediately got, some fucking, what's this? 38 achievements. I got
I like that
straight
too.
off the bat.
I was like, oh, achievements, all right.
Cycling for fucking ages. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good. This is good for my ego, I'll tell you what. Just a fucking ton of fucking achievements.
Right.
Does
the
weird.
Game change difficulty depending on how many players are in the match? Like, is there any scaling happening?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it adds more enemies or anything based on extra players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. We should jump in and check out what else has changed.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I played like one round before we started podcasting, and
Yep.
I think I just accidentally pressed the things I shouldn't have been pressing. It was like the make this level harder, and I did that like 3
Oh, yeah.
times, and then it was I
Nice.
couldn't find the teleporter,
Mm.
but I could find a teleporter that looked like the thing that made the levels harder. So I just activated that, and it just summoned a couple bosses, and they just destroyed me. I was like, probably shouldn't have used that.
Once you summon the challenge of the mountain a couple of times,
Yeah.
the teleporter will look like that, and
Okay.
you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, that's the one I found. I was like, where's the other one? Doesn't look the same. And it's still telling me. So fair enough. Lesson learned.
Good luck.
The other
I
thing
deliberately summon the challenge of the mountain because I'm a fucking baller. But that's why I had so many fucking jumps, because 2 bosses, they both dropped fucking extra jumps. I just kept getting extra jumps. It was fucking the hoopoo feather.
How do you unlock
jumps?
like extra? There's like a talent tree or like a loadout tree or something like that. Is that just through playing a bunch, or is it drops that automatically come out? Because I couldn't see like any experience sort of meter type system in there.
What loadout tree? What?
When you select your character, there's like a loadout, and there's
you complete achievements, like you complete like objectives for each character, and it allows you to equip different like
abilities.
It's not like a loadout tree or anything. It's just like alternate like items and stuff. So a couple of them have a few different abilities and stuff. I don't know how big the changes are, like how much they've changed everything. But last time I was playing, there was like I think I talked about this. There was this dude who could spit acid,
like that.
This like frog dude who could spit acid.
Okay.
And he was who I was playing. I didn't play as him yesterday, so I was afraid to find out whether or not they nerfed him, because I think I spoke about this, but he could animation cancel his own attack halfway through the attack, and it would immediately reset. And so you could then, it had like a bit of forward momentum to it, and so you could like use that to move around the level, constantly attacking. You'd like basically attack 30% of the way, and as long as it made contact, it would hit. And then you'd animation cancel, and then you just fucking keep doing that shit until everything was dead. It was hilariously broken, but I don't know if they've fixed that. Hopefully they haven't. I don't know. Anyway, very keen to play more of it, but yeah, it only came out yesterday, and I was catching up. I was doing some other stuff. I was chasing down other stuff, but yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Cool. Next up, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm still playing that. I'm about 15 hours deep in it. I talked about it last week. I guess the one thing I'll quickly mention as well is the camera and movement issues that I was talking about. So I made a video after we finished recording that I sent to you, which is just basically like this is kind of like what I'm experiencing. And just to sort of recap that, it was Aloy is the way the sort of camera is positioned is very close to like her right shoulder, and she's not necessarily centered in the middle of the screen. She's more like when you start moving in that game, it's like she's centered in the left sort of center of the screen. And so when you press forward on the keyboard, she's not running towards the center of the screen necessarily. She's running more towards the center left of the screen. And the issue there is when you start doing things like aiming at certain enemies in the game, or just trying to just direct yourself to somewhere you want to run to, your natural instinct is to focus in the center of the screen where you want to be running and move in that direction. But instead, she's running to the sort of like the left middle. But then on top of that, the camera moves around a bunch. So once you start getting control of Aloy, and not being in like a combat sort of situation, that's when the camera starts to shift around a bunch. And the video that I sent you, it shows it like starting off on the left-hand side of the screen, like left middle, and then it moves quickly, well, it slowly moves towards the center. And then by the end of that video, it's like on the, like the camera is now on the left-hand side of her shoulder where she's on the right-hand side of the screen. It's just like really weird.
Oh yeah, it was like I wanted to I kept watching, but I didn't want to watch. As soon as I could see it, I couldn't unsee it, and
Yeah.
like I wasn't even controlling it, and it was like wrinkling my brain. It did not work. Yeah. That's so weird.
Yeah, what I ended up doing was, and I think I might have talked about this last week, but I moved the FOV up to 90, which alleviates the problem a little bit. It's definitely less noticeable using a controller because you've got more directional control using the analog sticks as opposed to just pressing W on a keyboard and having her run in a straight direction. So that's probably why it wasn't as a big problem on the PlayStation, as opposed to here with using a mouse and keyboard. So I ended up doing like a quick voiceover onto that video, and I just uploaded it on my YouTube channel, and it had like 500 hits or something at this stage, and a bunch of comments, about 13 or 14 comments, and the majority of people, there was one person that said they didn't like the camera movement in Red Dead. Which is like the comparison that I said. They said they like it better in this. Everybody else is like, yeah, this is like, I noticed this, I thought it was crazy type thing. Like, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. So yeah, it's definitely an issue that people have noticed, which is good. It wasn't just me being weird. So, but I don't think that is necessarily like a port issue or anything like that. I mean, it could be something they could have fixed up, but from the sounds of it, that's the way the camera worked in the PlayStation game. It's just more obvious on the PC when you've got a bit less control of the character. But like in saying that, I'm still digging the game a lot, having fun with it. Really, really enjoy the combat in it. Like I said last week, the scanning the machines in the game and learning their weak points and stripping those parts off of them, and having that affect their movesets or their abilities is an excellent design choice that I want more games to do. I think it's really interesting and fun. Adds a interesting layer of strategy to the game. But having played this game more, like it's a bad port. It's a really bad port that I think does a lot of disservice to the game. Like if this was the PlayStation 4 version wasn't a thing, and this is the game that came out, it wouldn't have been as critically acclaimed as what Horizon Zero Dawn was. 'Cause I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn was it's probably a 90, right? Something like that on Metacritic.
Yeah, probably 85.
Yeah.
Let's have a look while you talk.
Yeah, on the PC, the performance is not great. I might have said last week run pretty good, but this was in the starting areas. Like it was only a couple of hours in. I've now branched out of that starting area, started getting a bit more open worldish. It doesn't run great. Like a lot of the time, it's dropping below 60 frames per second. I've got a pretty good PC, not a pretty good. I'd say an excellent PC. My build, it's not even a year old. I built it in like December last year. A 2080 graphics card, top of the line CPU, shitload of RAM. Like it's a really good PC. And it's struggling sometimes to hit 60 frames per second in this game. It's just optimized really poorly. On top of that, a lot of weird, like glitchy things that are going on. I had one mission bug out on me because I stealth attacked somebody and she like threw them with her spear. Like she sneaks up and stabs them. And when the animation finished, the body, when she threw it, it went into a wall, and the body it wasn't accessible anymore because the body was just like inside of a building that you can get into.
Right.
And so I needed to then go talk to a character, and the character was trapped in like a cage or like a prisoner. And the character's like, "You need to go search the guards and find the key." And I went back upstairs, and the quest marker was inside the building that I couldn't get into. And I'm like, "Cool, all right, what do I do now?" Luckily,
Right.
I just restarted the mission and did it again. But just like weird things like that, where it's just doesn't feel as polished as what we expected or were used to on the PlayStation. Um, so it just doesn't. It just feels a bit jankier. It doesn't feel as smooth. So it's kind of disappointing. From like all the things I heard about the like the Death Stranding port, that being really good and that sort
Mm.
of stuff, I was kind of expecting a bit more from this one, and I hope that. I mean, I hope that they at least pay a bit more attention to the PC ports, and going forward, now that it seems like Sony's going to be potentially putting a lot more of their games out on PC after its like major release. So yeah, I just don't want sloppy like renditions of their tentpole releases being half-assed on the PC, because there's huge potential on the PC. It almost can have like a second life
Yeah.
on there. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing that's like that. But otherwise, I'm having fun with it. I'm looking forward to getting to the DLC content, because that was the stuff that I never got around to. So I'm curious to see what that game or that like content is like. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's just a bit it's a bit finicky, a bit flaky. All right, so next up, a few weeks ago, I talked about Carry On. Well, we both talked about Carry On. And I ended up doing a review on that. And in that review, I talked about Dead by Daylight. And you said that after you checked out that review, you wanted to go revisit Dead by Daylight for some reason. Do you want to talk about that exactly why and what happened there? What was the thinking?
I think I just the idea of horror games sort of appealed to me, and like yeah, you talking about it reminded me of the game, and yeah, like I just hadn't played in so long, and I just sort of went down a bit of a rabbit hole looking into just how far it had come since it first came out, since I last played it, which was a little bit after it first came out, because
Hmm.
I played it at launch, or when it first, like when it released.
Yeah, you
I
reviewed it
played
for
it
GameSpot.
and I reviewed it for GameSpot, yeah,
Yeah,
and then it fell off for a little bit. Returned for the Michael Myers DLC,
yeah.
and played again a bit because I don't know, I like Halloween, and I thought he was a good idea for a killer, and he is
Turns
a
out he
fucking
was.
good idea for a killer. And then, yeah, I just hadn't touched it. It must have been maybe 3.5 years since I last played it. But yeah, I pitched to GameSpot. I pitched doing a re-review because I reviewed it for them, and 4 years have passed, and I know they do re-reviews for some games that have stood the test of time. I thought Dead by Daylight was one that I think deserved another look,
Mm,
because I gave it a 6 when it first came out. But over time, they literally fixed everything I complained about.
yeah.
Like, yeah. So, doesn't it deserve fucking another look? I think so. I think we've been talking about the static nature of game reviews on this podcast a little bit, thanks to some good questions, and yeah. So why not? Why not go
Mm.
back in? So I pitched it to them, and they said, "Hey, cool idea. We really need a review of Grounded." And I said, "All right."
This other
Um,
horror game.
all right, if you insist. And so I played Grounded, and reviewed that for them, and then I was able to go on to Dead by Daylight, and so I've been playing that a bunch, with the exception of a significant amount of my weekends, almost my entire weekend. Primarily what I've been playing lately is Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
And like Fall Guys has actually been subbing in for me as a game I play to calm down from Dead by Daylight,
Mm.
which isn't super helpful. Because Fall Guys tilts the fuck out of me, and then I wind up going back to Dead by Daylight to calm down from Fall Guys. That's a vicious circle. I got
Yeah.
ulcers on top of ulcers at this point. But anyway,
Did you know
so we
that
jump back into-
Dead by Daylight, because you reviewed it when the game launched, I reviewed it for a Halloween themed thing we were doing on Survivor. It was maybe it was a couple months after Dead by Daylight. But you are the lowest score on Metacritic for Dead by Daylight, and I am the highest score on Metacritic for Dead by Daylight.
That is gold. That's what you get out of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
The spectrum. So we jump back in and like I've played a bunch on my own. I played a bunch with you. You made the fucking great suggestion. They need a 2-killer mode. And then we could play killers together, because as it is, we're sort of forced to only play survivors together. But just been playing it stacks since last week, and just getting right back into it. I think I was like torn. So I think the biggest thing, the big things I complained about back in my 2016 review was the lack of the ability to play with friends, party up with friends. When we were playing back in the day, when it first came out, we were sort of randomly queuing into games together. Sort of the way you try to find the same server in PUBG. You try to join at the same time type thing, or try to matchmake at the same time. Doesn't always work. It's annoying as fuck. They fixed that. And the other thing I complained about was player hosting. And I don't know if they'd fixed that by the time you did your review for Survivor.
No. Dedicated servers are only new.
Yeah, they're pretty new. But they do, the game has dedicated servers now. You play on a dedicated server, and it is a significantly better experience as a result. Significantly better. I mean, there's ignoring the fact that, player hosted games are always worse than dedicated servers. There's none of the little things that were going on back when it first came out. There was also no regional matchmaking consideration. It would just find anyone, which I think made group matchmaking that much harder, but would find anyone from around the world playing fucking Dead by Daylight at that moment who wanted to play, and it'd dump you in a game together. And the amount of times I got dumped into games, I'd ask at the end. I'd be like, "Hey, where are you from?" I'd be like, "GG, where are you from?" And the killer would be like, "Oh, Italy." And I'm like, "That explains a fucking lot."
Yeah. They also didn't have any ping system or lobby information to be like, "Hey, this is where this is how much lag you're going to have." You kind of just had to get into the game, start moving, and be like, "Oh, this doesn't feel this doesn't feel right."
Teleported backwards.
Yeah.
This one's not going to work.
So the quality of life stuff is in there now.
Yeah, a lot of quality of life stuff. They could still do so much more. The amount of little things, it's crazy to me how it makes me wonder. I know they're not a big team, but it makes me wonder if they play other games very much, because even just a matchmaking estimate doesn't exist.
Yeah,
you just
sit there and wait.
Yeah, I'm glad I've got 2 screens, because I can alt tab and wait for it to load. Wait for the screen to change to the loading screen, so I know I've actually found a game. I just don't understand why that doesn't exist. Why there isn't a fucking countdown. Every game that does matchmaking by default should have it, I think. And it's odd that over the course of 4 years, Dead by Daylight never added it. But I don't think it's not a deal breaker or anything. It's just, and I think it's one that's it's an issue that is particularly exacerbated by a very, very current fucking problem. So my review will go up, I presume, before the weekend, but I've got no fucking idea. So in that case, before you listen to this podcast, probably. And I don't talk about some things. I mean, it's a review. You can't talk about everything. GameSpot doesn't, prefers me to not do my 4,000 word screeds.
Yeah.
They know what they like, and it's my job to fucking give them what they want. They're the people with the money.
Yeah.
So I try to tailor it to their thing. But on the other hand, the other thing that is you'll see in this review is that I don't go in too hard on the skill-based matchmaking system. I do talk about it quite a bit, and I do criticize them specifically for it, but I do not drag them over the coals for it because it did eventually rectify itself. I do think that the initial fucking experience it creates is woeful, but once it levels out, I don't think it's better, but it's certainly better than it is when it's not working.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's better than it was previously. I do not think it is an improvement, but it's very difficult to tell whether or not it is an improvement or not.
Yeah.
So I don't go in too much on that, right? Because I think it does level itself out eventually. And while the initial experience is fucking woeful, once it gets to a level, it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I do think that skill-based matchmaking has directly exacerbated fucking wait times for matchmaking.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I noticed that while I was getting shit matches, and it's still happening while I'm a survivor. I don't know how many fucking games as a survivor I'm supposed to play because it apparently doesn't matter. So to clarify, in the last 2 weeks, basically as soon as I pitched the idea of re-reviewing Dead by Daylight, Behavior introduced this fucking skill-based matchmaking system.
Yeah. It's very recent as well. It was only 5 days ago or something, 6 days ago, right?
Yeah. And people aren't happy, generally speaking, about this.
Can I just quickly say something? Because I don't know if you've seen this, but there's an update going out, and they will be disabling matchmaking on all platforms.
Oh my god! All right, well, okay, that's
which is probably already out. It said 10 a.m. today Eastern time, so that's way gone. So they've disabled matchmaking, which I guess is good. For me, at least, not for you, because your review talks about matchmaking.
I'm gonna have to do a big fucking big edit.
Well, and I don't think you need to edit it. I think you just add a thing at the top that says, since this was written, they've disabled the matchmaking for this moment. I don't know. I guess you need to talk to your editor about it.
I will pitch the idea of me writing a single sentence to fix my review. I'll definitely pitch that because it's way less work. But
I
don't
don't
think they're going to go for
have you already submitted it?
I have.
Just keep it on the download. Don't tell them. And then once it goes live, be like, oh, by the way.
Classic. I'm also going to have to play more of the game to see if my theories about the matchmaking are true. Anyway, that's fucking good. Anyway,
we should jump in afterwards and see what's changed.
Holy shit. Anyway, I've forgotten my point. What I was driving.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Basically,
the point's gone.
Matchmaking, and it exacerbated a few times, and I think it illuminated to me the need for a fucking this is how long you're expected to wait for a queue to queue into a match. I was like, it was after it had seemed to start putting me into actual skill rated games as a killer. After that, the queue times were about 30 seconds. I was waiting about 30 seconds for a new game. Before that, it was like 2 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'm waiting
which
about
was
4
fucking
minutes
crazy.
at peak time in America, which is
Yeah, that's wild.
nuts.
I honestly think it is unable to, like, if it hasn't worked out your skill rating, it's unable to work out how to put you into a match. I think that's and then it eventually just dumps you in whatever match, and that's why you wind up in games with. So as like before it worked out my skill rating, and this was the issue that you are not going to see this fucking version of the review anymore, dear listener. Like it's not like I guarantee you they will not publish it, but which is annoying, but it is what it is. What was happening was I would, as a killer, get put against a bunch of surviving with friends or party match made. I believe they changed it from surviving with friends as a name. Party match made rank 1 survivors who would, like, you'd see at the end screen, they'd have the perfect perk builds, they'd have brought fucking items, they'd have burned fucking all kinds of shit. They all had fucking decisive strikes, so I could never fucking, even if I did get one of them down, they'd fucking get out of it immediately. And at the end, at the GG screen,
everybody's teabagging. It's
surprising. Like at the start, when I first, like the first couple of groups were all teabagging, and then I'd get to the fucking end screen, and I'd be like, this seems like it was a fair match. And they'd be like, oh shit, sorry man, GG. And then every game after that, it stopped happening. Like people weren't GGing anymore, and I noticed like they were fucking with me, but they weren't teabagging. They weren't like infinite looping me or anything like that. They weren't doing any of the dickhead shit. As soon as they realized that I was some sort of fucking like mid-rank fucking killer, right? I'm not Luke. Luke is like a god killer, right? I am
and survivor.
Luke.
That's
and survivor. Very good survivor. Yes. You're a far better killer than you are a survivor. But, but anyway, yeah, like after they realized that I was a mid-tier killer and I'd been like outranked or they'd been matched incorrectly. Yeah, they wouldn't infinite loop me, and they'd leave me on these chases, and like half the time they'd like lead me back into a cluster of them, and I could tell that this was happening on purpose, right? Like I am good enough at Dead by Daylight to know when things are happening the way they shouldn't, right? Like I'm not good enough to change the stakes as a result, but I'm good enough to know. And like I think it definitely improved how I played and stuff like that. I learned as a result of playing against these rank 1 survivors over and over and over again. But yeah, it was not a like preferable learning experience, and it was only because they played down to my level that I was able to have any fun at all. The first 2 games against rank 1 survivors, and I played over and over again against rank 1 survivors. The first 2 games were just awful. And yeah, like immediately, I got in to the end game chat, and while I was typing up, I can't believe I got match made like this. They'd be like, isn't there supposed to be skill-based matchmaking? Why are we getting matched against shit cunts? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, GG. Not crazy about this matchmaking. And then they, despite being rank 1, apparently they don't go to have a look at what perks the killer had. And they eventually go across to have a look at what perks the killer had. And the killer had whatever I had on Michael Myers, like whatever I have available on Michael Myers, because I haven't like maxed him out or anything. And yeah, I don't know. And like garbage, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry man, oh shit, yeah, that's how bad. And yeah, eventually the odds changed. People like, I think that's the thing, right? That's what I wound up really liking about Dead by Daylight, and I wrote about this in my review. You will probably, I'm gonna have to fucking rewrite so much of this fucking review. It is very fucking upsetting. But what I did like is that like people play to the like people have more fun in Red Dead by Daylight when they're playing to the theater of the game, playing to the level of the game, like playing
how the game's
a
supposed to
version
work.
of the game that is having more fun. And like I think I directly learned this by watching a streamer called True Talent.
True Talent, yeah.
He's a pretty chill dude. He rages out a bit, but he's a fairly chill dude, and he has a really good attitude about like copping to your own mistakes, not getting hung up on the mistakes of your like teammate survivors, and not getting tilted because as a killer because you at the end of the day just want to sort of play a version of the game that is fun for everyone. And like he doesn't do that all the time. He definitely fucking tilts out and stuff, but I think it was very good for changing my mindset from I'm just getting bodied by these fucking group ones, these rank ones all the time. This is the fucking worst. And I was like spiraling towards like I can't believe I'm gonna have to fucking tank. I pitched a re-review and I'm going to give it a fucking lower score. This can't be fucking possible. There has to be something off here. And obviously, yeah, it changed significantly once the skill rating worked its shit out. But also, before I got to that point, while I was on my journey to no longer being ranked against people who had thousands more hours in the game than me, while I was on that journey, I changed my attitude to, okay, all I'm really trying to do, I don't have to kill everyone. I don't care about pips. I don't care about like fucking ranking up. I actually literally don't. I don't know why I'm investing so much of my time and energy and attention into my ability to play at a level that I'm clearly not at yet. So it doesn't matter. And what I should concentrate on is just sort of having fun. And so I wound up I looked it up afterwards.
Found some
I
dumb
created
builds.
this build of Michael Myers where I use like the shattered mirror. So he never exits rank 1. And I was like, and he can see them, see survivors when he stalks with like inside of 32 meters of him, he can see them.
Yeah, it like highlights
and I was
them.
just like, it highlights them through like walls and stuff. And so I was just like fucking sneaking up on them and then like fucking popping out of the way because they changed Michael Myers, I don't know when, but at some point he doesn't have any terror ratings.
Right.
At level 1. Like even within 1, he has no fucking terror ratings.
Okay,
it's
cool.
0 now.
Yeah.
So they can't hear him at all. And so I was able to get like super, like especially when they were doing like the indoors fucking Jennies. I would like get like fucking a wall away and then just step out next to them, and I wouldn't even like
don't attack
them. And you see them fucking like shit their pants. We had a game against a dude who did this, and I shit my pants. It was fucking phenomenal.
I think I've got it on video. I think I've got like you running in the corner, and you can see him like standing there, and you just scream. I've got to look through my footage.
I want to see this. I desperately want to see it. Yeah, like it is. That is. Like, there is literally no game like it. There's no game that comes close to that experience. The experience of getting to be the fucking slasher in a slasher film. Like, and literally just fucking with people. And everyone has a better time for it. Like, and it is to everyone's, it is mutually beneficial. And, like, it can't, like, nothing comes close. And I think that's fucking amazing. Right. And like once I changed my mindset, it was huge for me. It was such a big deal.
Well, the game tries to like incentivize you to play that way as well, because you get points for there's like a bunch of different ways the game sort of scores you in terms of how many points you get at the end of the game. And for the killer, it's not just like downing players. It's like chasing them and stalking them and all that sort of stuff. And if you play the game purely just to down everybody and kill everybody in the first 2 minutes and stand there and camp a hook while what you do is you down a survivor, you pick them up, you put them on a hook somewhere. If you just stand there and camp that hook,
yeah,
like the game incentivizes you not to do that. Like that's, or not only is it playing the game badly, but the game tries to steer you away from doing that. So they've got all these things in there where it's like you need to play it this specific way, and you can play it if you want to play it that way. But if you play it this way, where everybody's having more fun, you're gonna level up quicker. You're gonna get cooler things to use. Like they do a really good job of that.
And the good thing about it is that because I like these. I mean, it's not like people are toxic only once they reach rank 1. So when I was finally skill level matched, I had a game where I only hooked one person, and I hooked him right at the last second, like literally at the thing. And the only reason I hooked him, I was going to let them all go. Right? I had maxed out chase, maxed out hit, damage. Like damage dealt, because I'd been like kicking I'd literally been cycling. They had one Jenny left, and I'd been cycling between them and kicking the Jennies to like reset them, because they kept going to this one Jenny like over and over again. 3 of them would go there, so I'd kick it and then just sort of hover near it to make sure that it would bleed enough, and then I'd go and patrol there was only like 3 Jennies left total.
Yeah.
And so, I'd go back around. And so I was trying to push them to go to split and do the other 2 generators. But they just kept coming back to this one. And so every time I'd always like catch one of them with a hit, and they must have had self-heal or something. I'm not sure what it was, but they were constantly back at full health. And I'd stand there, build up my fucking evil within like just shy of 3.
Yeah.
When Michael Myers reaches 3, he's insta down.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need 2 hits to down people. So I build it up to 99%. And then when I'm like one step away from someone, I finish it off and then stab them, because you can tell Michael Myers' current like state based on how he's holding his knife. If he's holding his knife upwards, he's in evil within 1 or 2. If he's holding it downwards, he's in evil within 3, and he will stab you to death. So I walk up to him, and they think they're just going to get slashed, and then I pop, stabby, put them down, and then I'd walk away, right? And I was like, they made a mistake. They put like all the Jennies were really close to one another.
Yeah.
All these last generators were very close to one another. So it was very easy to patrol between them. Anyway, I maxed out chase, I maxed out damages, I maxed out hits, and I think I got like 3/4 on hooks. And then I stopped hooking them because they were when you get hooked a 3rd time, you're insta dead.
Yeah.
And so I stopped hooking them, and I was slugging, which is letting them crawl around like a slug. And they'd all like get each other back up again and heal back up. And I'd come back and like stab the one that I hadn't stabbed last time. And they eventually got out, because it turns out, like, I had no idea about this, but there's a maximum amount of evil within that you can like grab from people. It caps out.
Yeah.
Like you can't do it forever. Like I did understand, like as Michael Myers, you build up your evil within by stalking someone, by holding down on the right mouse button, and the more you do it to one person, they like sort of turn red. What I thought happened was you had to go stalk someone else, right? And that would allow you, like that would unred them. But no, eventually all of them were red, and so I couldn't get to evil within.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't get to evil within 3, and so I couldn't one hit down them anymore. So I had them all injured, but they managed to get the generators open, and they got an exit door open, and they were all standing there in the exit, like right close to the exit, teabagging. So I like slashed one dude and carried him over to the fucking hook, hooked him, put him on the hook, and then fucking off we go, right? Game over. Get to the end screen, and I type GG, and they're like, fuck you, slugger. One of them hits me with fuck you, slugger. The other one, another one hits me with oh, I couldn't even get fucking two of us. You're a shit cunt. But you look at the score screen, right? And I had more points than all of them. So it didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And I had the best fucking fun, right? Like, I didn't need to hook them. I was fucking about the whole time. I was having a good time. If they shifted their attitude, they would have had as much fun as well, right? It seemed like they were tilted because one of them got hooked. But I almost feel like A, I would have let them all walk away if they hadn't been teabagging. And B, I almost deserve a fucking hook after that performance. I almost deserved the fucking sacrifice. It was pretty fucking odd. But like I said, I had a lot of fun. And that is key to me. That is key to how Dead by Daylight is supposed to work. It will never be an esport. And trying to play it like an esport is devastating to your experience with it. And it's why I keep shifting from Fall Guys to Dead by Daylight and vice versa, because they're both the same. You have to have the same mentality in both of them. But I can't stop myself. I've reached a fucking point where I'm like, fuck this shit.
I'm just play competitively.
I'll go play Fall Guys.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Yeah. It is it's a phenomenal game. There's definitely issues, I guess. Like I said, there's a lot of they've made so many quality of life changes, but there are so many others, and I don't know why they don't exist. Obviously, skill-based matchmaking, they've fixed that. I don't know why, in the first place, if skill-based matchmaking is designed to give people a relatively fair experience, and I understand why they would want to implement it, right? And I wrote about this in the version of the review nobody will ever fucking see, but the reason it didn't work in Call of Duty is because it was too narrow. And when it's too narrow, narrow skill-based matchmaking only works when you have an external incentive to work towards. The only reason you want to play against the sweatiest cunts alive every single game is if you are working towards something greater, which is a rank, right?
Which is why those games are split up to ranked and casual.
Exactly. That's why, when you're playing Rainbow Six or fucking Counter-Strike or League of Legends, Dota, etc., you play ranked or you play casual. And you play casual when you don't want to play the sweatiest fucking game of all time. But if the only option is sweat, people are going to fucking get upset. Dead by Daylight had the opposite fucking, they only have a ranked mode, right? They don't have a quick match mode. And it's fine. It's actually fine most of the time because Dead by Daylight works better when you are matched against people of similar skill or playtime who understands the same mechanics on the same vague level as you.
Yeah.
But they went too broad with it on the outset. There were no fucking ranking matches. You didn't have 10 matches against people of disparate fucking ranking. In Rainbow Six, you can't even play ranked until you reach level 30.
Yeah.
Or League of Legends is the fucking same. There was none of that. Right? It was just oh, we don't have a ranking for you, so you're playing with these cunts.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a ranking for one guy out of the 4-person Survive with Friends, and they're all rank 1s. So I was like, well, you're playing with this dipshit, this fucking rank 15 moron. See how you go with this one. and it just kept doing it over and over again while it was trying to find that ranking. And that was too broad. It was a fucking huge error. They could have fixed it very easily by oh my God, delete everyone's fucking ranks. So at least at the end, I don't go, oh, what happened? Oh, right. They're all fucking red ranked survivors. It's all making sense now. Or, oh, yeah, it was a red ranked killer. I never had a fucking hope on this one. That explains why he constantly knew what I was like, what goofy fucking thing I was trying to pull off. Because he's seen it all before in the 16,000 hours he'd played of this game already.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's all coming together. It's all fucking clear now. But like if it had all been just new players or people who had like, oh, you've played 0 hours in the last 2 weeks. Like, how hard is it to fucking rate people against hours played in the last 2 weeks? Right? You're still gonna get some fucking sweats. It's still gonna happen, but it won't be every fucking game. I don't understand how anyone let this one go through without asking that question. What is the first time player user experience going to be like? We're going to push them in the deep end, but instead of a pool filled with water, it's filled with sharks that can survive in lava, and also it's lava, and we just fuck them, right? My new plan is fuck everyone who's new to this game. Yeah. Apparently, is the mission statement at Behavior Interactive, because it was woeful for new players and returning players.
Yeah, because I fit in that returning players category, because I've got I think it's 250 hours in the game, but that's split across 4 years, right? And also split across me playing a crap load of it the first, I don't know, 6-7 months. We talked about it a lot back when it came out. And every once in a while I sort of dipped in. I haven't returned to it for quite a while now, but even then, like I would main a killer, right? And I've got a bunch of killers that are like prestiged, I think they call it, or legend or something like that. But I don't play a lot of Survivor, so when you and I jump in together to play Survive with friends, I've only just hit the level cap on 2 of the survivors while we were playing together, and so I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm okay. Like I've played a lot of killer. I know how survivors run around and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not great as a survivor because I'm still learning all that stuff. And so we would jump into a game and like be matched up against rank 1 killers when we haven't played in like 2 years or something like that, against killers that we haven't seen before. Game mechanics have changed. They've added different types of abilities in there and things like that. And we're just like, all right, fair enough. For the most part, like we weren't doing terribly. Like I don't think when you and I were playing this, we didn't have any games where we just got destroyed. Where it's like we didn't get any generators done.
We had one, right? It was against
the Demogorgon.
Yeah. We got fucking ripped up on that one.
Yeah.
That dude, I still don't understand how he works. All I know is that I was fucking dead. Like, he'd show up and I was dead.
Yeah, I would see him disappear because I had an aura that shows me when where the killer is and then where the survivors are. And I would see him disappear and I'm like, all right, where's he gone? What's happening now?
Like, you survived for a long time on that one, but we still got fucking obliterated. We didn't. No. No, I don't think we got it. We got like 1 gen, maybe? And it was like literally you and me were the last ones left, and I'm like, dude, just fucking get a gen and find the hatch. You also, I don't think you need to get 1 gen for a hatch anymore.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you no longer need that. And the killer can close the hatches.
That's good. I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's a good change. Because you used to just camp the hatch before. Like I would see games go for fucking 10 to 15 minutes of just people standing there.
Hanging out next to the hatch,
I mean, there's that famous stream where somebody would just camp a hatch and went for like fucking hours. Like they would just sit, they both just left their game on. But like, just the notion of coming back after such a long time and being like, all right, I've got to try and relearn how to play this game as a survivor and trying to figure out all that sort of stuff. It just wasn't a great experience, but obviously they've switched that off now, so they've obviously listened to the community. It took them, I think, too long to respond. I didn't see any response from the community manager there at all about it, which is quite disappointing because it's been running for quite a while now. So that's a bit crap. But otherwise, like, I've had a huge amount of fun with it. Like, you've talked about like the quality of life changes, but one of the things that were a big problem back when we were playing, or when I was playing, was the like the infinite loops and things like that. Where you could basically find the maps are sort of like tile sets. They're not always the same map. They're sort of randomly generated a little bit. They interchange with one another, so they look a little bit differently. And sometimes people would find tile sets that you could sort of juke around and infinitely run and just like avoid the killer infinitely. And so their solution to that was have the entity, sort of like the game director, block off a section of the thing you're running around if you go through it too many times. So if it's like a window ledge, it blocks off the window and you can't do it anymore. And that was one of their solutions. I think that's a good solution. That fixes your like map your issues with maps straight away. Stop anytime.
What is it called? The fucking entity collapse, or the end game collapse. End game collapse as well. Like you can still loop killers for a while. Like you like that doesn't kick in for a little bit. So if you're near the end, you can go find like the shed loop, right, with the pallet. And like don't drop the pallet, keep flipping through that, keep looping through that for a little while. And like even when the entity does block off the window, you drop the pallet and you've got enough space to get away. A lot of the time, like most of the time, these survivors are holding on to all kinds of fucking perks like adrenaline and shit. But the end game collapse is a bar that counts down once the exit gates are powered, or is it once the first one opens? It starts to count down, and so you do not have infinite time anymore. You can't loop forever. And so you will have to leave and go to a gate. And if you've been looping a fucking killer, you're absolutely not going to fucking get to open a gate. So either you better hope they're both open, or you go to the correct one and you better hope that's fucking close to you, because otherwise you are fucking dead. The killer will absolutely catch you and do you. And probably fucking face camp you if you've been looping him at the end of the fucking game.
Just to be a dick.
That's another good solution. And like in general, they reworked how levels are laid out. And like they fixed a lot of like just the loops in general. I mean, there are only a couple of fucking infinite loops that are left, right? Like that shed one in particular, I think they can't get rid of, right? Because it's the way the shed is made. But
also
like,
you can't do it forever.
Yeah. So yeah, but they've largely fixed that situation. It still leads to some shitty behaviors and play and stuff. And yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, in my review, I wrote, it's one of the negatives is it's not balanced and it can't be balanced. But that's not a bad thing, right? Like at the end of the day, it will never be a balanced game. But as long as you play it with the right fucking mindset, the right headspace, it's not the worst thing in the world. As long as you're still having fun, as long as you realize it's never going to be a fucking esport. As long as you're not trying out for team solo mid every time you fucking play it, you're going to have a lot more fun, which is good. And it winds up being a lot. Yeah, it is a fucking phenomenal game. I bought 2 killers.
Oh, who'd you
bought the Executioner.
Right, from Silent Hill.
Pyramid Head. And I bought Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah? You got reworked.
I don't like him.
All right.
I don't really understand how to use him very well, but I feel like Like he can teleport to any Jenny on the map that hasn't been done, which is pretty cool if you've got some idea of where they are. But it winds up like you take so long to do the teleport, and it feels like maybe I just don't understand him very well. But yeah, it just feels like the power up for the teleport is so lengthy that it's very difficult to actually, catch someone out on it or whatever.
Right.
Execution is fucking hilarious though. He leaves these trails on the ground. Like you drag your fucking sword through the ground and it puts all this fucking barbed wire everywhere. And if anyone runs over it, they get put in the injured state. And you can see them, so you can track them. It's got like that fucking blinking thing. But the other thing he does is he can send like I think it's an 8 meter long wave attack.
Yeah,
it's not very long, but it goes through walls and stuff, and so you wind up in this situation where like some person is like sitting on the other side of a pallet from you. You just fucking hit him and put him down. And the third thing he does is instead of hooking someone, he can send them to the Cage of Atonement or something.
Yeah,
and it's like it's like a hook, but you can't like use any of your hook abilities, and you get sent to the cage, and there's like 4 of them on the map, and yeah, I think the learning curve with him is you don't know where those fucking cages are on every map, so I don't know where people are sent to, so I can't like go check on them, so I don't know when they like. I only know where they've been sent once they get out of it because I see the fucking escape fucking thing. But yeah, or I think I've seen the escape. I don't know. Anyway, but he's pretty cool, and I feel like he's pretty scary, and people like freak out when he's rolling up on them. The only problem is with the matchmaking, it was individual to each killer.
Okay.
So if I don't play as Michael Myers with the skill-based matchmaking, it reset me back into the dumb fucking random pool, and I stopped getting put with people around my skill level again.
I'm okay with that.
So when I started playing as no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Every killer should definitely have a skill-based, like their specific skill rating. 100%. But it was particularly fucking aggravating when I'm learning a killer playing a new killer for the first time, and everyone I'm playing against is rank 1 again. Especially after I'd spent so long working my way out of that fucking nightmare as Michael Myers. So yeah. Anyway, he's a cool killer. I'm very happy with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I only ever played as the one survivor, Meg.
Yeah. I've got a couple, like 2 survivors, Meg and can't remember who the other one was, that I sort of play as, one of the other ladies. But yeah, the killers is where I like to play a lot of. I jumped in and played more of the Pig, which is from Saw, the Saw film. I like that one because she's got a stealth ability where she crouches. She's not as quick, but her terror radius kind of disappears, and you can sneak up to people and do like this lunge attack. And then when you down them, you can put a reverse bear trap on their head, like from the movies. And once they get free and running around again, there's these like little saw stations that are set up, like jigsaw stations from the movie, a little creepy white doll thing who is sitting on these stations, and you have to use them as like a skill check. And eventually there's a bunch of them spread out throughout the map, and you got to find the key. And if you don't find the key in time, then your reverse bear trap goes off and you die. So it's like a...
You were like fucking this close.
Someone did it to me, yeah.
Eh?
And I literally had about 3 seconds left, and I must have checked... I think I checked three stations. I did nothing that entire game for the first like 5 minutes because I immediately got found.
And you still escaped. That's the good game, man. Oh my god, the fucking killer brought no one escapes death, and it was such a shitty fucking move. Oh my lord.
It popped up on the screen though, you should have seen it.
Hey?
It popped up when the last generator triggered, and I think they still had a totem left somewhere on the ground. It popped up on the screen and said like no one escapes death. So it notified you. But there you go.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
You shouldn't have teabagged.
I certainly didn't. Get the fuck out of here. I just can't believe. So Luke is literally like, well, I'm fucking dead. I'm dead. Oh my God. I'm alive. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, and the clock is like millimeters out. He was like, this is some fucking 90s action movie.
Yeah, like the end
bomb
of
is defused at the last second type
like
shit.
a Mission Impossible film, and Tom Cruise has 0.3 seconds left.
Yeah, it was, and he escaped, and he got away.
Yeah, so that was good.
It was my own fault. I had like open an exit gate as Meg.
Yeah,
as my stupid daily challenge, and we had an exit gate open. I should have just gone to the fucking exit gate. I was also 98% done. I actually just stood there continuing to do the fucking exit gate because I'm like, I don't care. If I get this fucking gate open, it'll be all fine. And I didn't even get it done. I also got that's the second time I got 99% of the fucking exit gate open as Meg to finish that daily and got fucking chopped by the fucking killer. Unbelievable. Stitched up.
Yeah.
Just one more tick. I'm like the reverse. I'm like the opposite of like you. You're Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible movies, and I'm fucking, I don't know, fucking Crom 2s. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know where I was going with that one when I started. Anyway, good times.
They've got 20 killers at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how many survivors. Because I've
22, I think.
Yeah, I don't buy survivors.
No.
Well, I don't play survivors generally.
Yeah.
I think I'll usually check out like their starting, because you can unlock their abilities through a different skill tree, which is cool. You don't actually have to play them. But I play a lot of the killers. They're always good fun, and they behave like so differently. We talked about like the pig and how that introduces like a different gameplay element in there. But then you've got other ones where it's like the hag is one that I've played a lot of, and like even the Michael Myers stuff. We came across the gunslinger for the first time. I did the other day, and he shoots you with a gun and like reels you in, and then once he hits you, then you've got to try and get away and heal yourself. Otherwise, you take a hit, I guess. So yeah, while it may seem like he's got an advantage because he can sort of reel you in from a distance, he's also not really doing as much damage, I guess. So he's really got to be a good chaser. Yeah, I just like the interesting ways they kind of change it up. And I guess the one thing that we noticed when we were playing was, and we still don't really know how this works, but the tooltips during the loading screens were letting us know who the killer was going to be.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I don't like that at all. I'd rather it be a surprise. But I can also understand it doing, if it tells you the first time you come up against the killer, then I think that's fine. That way you get an idea of how that thing works. But if it's constantly telling you who the killer is going to be, I think that's bad. It shouldn't do that at all. I like to be surprised.
It's detrimental to some, like, to how, like, I think, you know, you should be trying to listen out for the bells when you're coming up against a wraith or whatever the fuck he's called.
Or looking for traps. Or, you know.
Yeah. Or, you know, trying to find out whether or not there's a spooky white mask standing directly behind you for ages for no reason.
Or Freddy Krueger is literally invisible. He used to be invisible. I don't know if he's anymore, but
right. Or Ghostface.
Right.
Goes invisible, right?
I think he's got no stealth. He's got like a radius around him where he doesn't reveal his what do you call it? I've forgotten what it's called. The terror radius. Let's draw a blank. Anyway.
Yeah, terror. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add about that one? Are you going to keep playing it, or like where are you at?
Yeah, I keep playing it.
You keep playing it?
I'm definitely going to keep playing. I enjoy, like, I'm not going to play it as much as I have been, but I'm going to keep playing it. Sure.
Yeah. I only play Survivor.
I'm well back into it. I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Dead by Daylight out now on everything. I feel like at this stage, like I think it's out on Switch and it's got crossplay. for PC. I don't think crossplay's out on consoles yet.
Not yet, no.
But it's out on PC. Crossplay between different platforms, which is cool. I think once they introduce the crossplay on the Switch and the PlayStation and Xbox, that's going to really thrive that community up even more, because they've got a decent player base. It's still increasing, which is cool. Yeah. All right, should we move on? So next up, we've got a game I talked about last week, Satisfactory. It's a first-person construction game that is in early access, and I picked it up. I talked about it, as I said on last episode. I said it was one of my favorite games I played this year. You were very hesitant to pick this up. I think you were complaining about the price at one stage. I think I said it was going for it was on sale. It was going for around about $20. Do you know what you picked it up for in the end?
25.
All right.
25 Australian.
Anyway, so then what happened, Joab?
Can you, I know we don't do a lot of editing on this podcast, but can you just directly edit in what I said last week about how I was never going to play this game? Just chunk that bit in where I'm like, fucking, Luke, I'm never going to fucking play this game.
I'll see if I can find it. Because
I'm such a fucking idiot. I played it for... Does Epic Game Store do actual stats yet?
Yeah.
Time played? If it does, let's have a look at that. Otherwise, update required. Are you fucking kidding? My estimate is I've played 29 hours of Satisfactory since last podcast.
Okay. That's in one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Legitimately, most of it was over the course of a single day. I think I played the game for 16 hours on Saturday. I just went down the rabbit hole. Straight down the fucking rabbit hole. I think we played it very briefly together on Friday, maybe. Or Thursday. Must be Friday. A couple of hours, and then I woke up on Saturday quite early. I had some breakfast, and then I just played the fuck out of this game, nonstop. I ate at my desk. I've played... Oh, no. Thank God. Oh, my Lord. Okay, we can cut 8 hours out of this, but shit. 34 hours if we cut 8 hours out of this. Because, it says I played for 1 day and 18 hours.
We've played the same amount of time, looks like.
Right. I jumped on Saturday and I played till midnight. Just basically the entire day. I played from fucking 8 a.m. until midnight. With an hour break in there. Then I played another fucking 12-ish hours on Sunday.
I got up the next day and you were still in the Discord chat for some reason. This was 4 o'clock in the morning in Australia. And I'm like, why is Joab in Discord still? And then you also still had the game running, it looked like. And I'm like, he can't still be playing. There's no way he's still playing. I think he just left it on. The server running.
I did. I left the server running so we could have it creating resources and stuff overnight. This is me eating a fuckload of crow. It's fucking... I'm just eating so much fucking crow on this one. I was wrong. Satisfactory 100% got me. I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. I think I may have played myself out of it. I may have gone a little too ham, a little too quickly.
Yeah.
And I might not go back for a little while. It might be a Subnautica type situation where I don't return while it's in early access.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I played the fuck out of it. I totally get what you were saying. It is phenomenally compelling. it is so easy to fall down that rabbit hole because what it like it just feeds into some very, I guess, simple, like, lizard brain shit. You're actually like
chasing the next thing.
but also like seeing actual progress. Like the one thing that I always really appreciated about working construction, right? Working construction sucks dick. I fucking I hate being sweaty. I hate being dirty. I hate being sore from fucking digging dirt or fucking getting my hand with a fucking star picket, which happened more than once. I hate that shit. But I do like being able to wrap up at the end of the day and go, I dug that hole today. That hole wasn't there before, and now it is there because of me. It sucked shit doing it, but I can see what I've accomplished at the end of the day. And not a lot of jobs necessarily give you that same fucking feeling. And very few games do the same thing. But I think that might be why people gravitate towards construction focused games. I think that's why building in games is very popular a lot of the time. It's why, when we play The Forest, right, there's absolutely no need for us to walk around and clear cut a fucking enough trees to build a fucking Windsor Castle or some shit, right? But we'll do it and we'll lug them all over and we'll make a big fucking fence and then we will inexplicably leave the fucking gate open. But like we'll do all that shit every single fucking time, every single time we play The Forest. Every time we restart, we always start by clear cutting a forest like we're the bad guys from a Captain Planet episode, and then we'll fucking build a fucking fort. And
there's no
it's
reason.
because it's because like I think it feeds into the part of us that wants to have built something and it works. And Satisfactory is non-stop on that shit. It's like fucking bang bang, you are building constantly and you're building new things that lead to other things that like are worth doing. You feel like, oh yeah, it makes sense for me to do it. Like it makes sense for me to do this. And like you're learning better ways to do things all the time. I wonder, like, so I burned out on it, right? Pretty obviously. I haven't been back to play it since Sunday. Part of that is because obviously it's the work week and I can't afford to piss away another 12 hours. But part of it is also like there's like 50-50. I'm like half terrified of going back in and falling down the rabbit hole again, and half I don't know, like I might wind up hating the game if I go back. Because I reached a point where I just didn't feel like I was getting anything out of it. Like exploration wasn't really. It is a phenomenal, like it's such a fucking pretty game, and like there's so much to see and do, and it's phenomenal how big it is. You can fucking when you start a game up, right? You pick a starting location. It tells you, oh, this is probably a good idea. Start here if you're a new survivor. And it's got like 5 other places where you can go start a fucking place. The fucking, like we built a base at the second starting location. These aren't different worlds. It's all part of the same world. You can go to each starting location just out of like natural progression throughout the game world. It's fucking huge. And massive. You like actually need to do this shit. Like you wind up in this situation where it's required. Like you are like fully fucking yourself if you don't. And yeah, there are all these little things. I was going on about priority management, and it's because I think it is, probably the simplest way to talk through that the loop, the gameplay loop of trying to work out what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
But and I think a lot of survival games tap into that priority management. And I think a large portion of the success of Battle Royale is down to the fact that it tightens that priority management fucking circle, that gameplay loop, into something really fucking compact, something you can get through in fucking 30 minutes.
Mhm.
But survival games like Satisfactory, that list never ends, right? Like the list in Warzone is about fucking 20 bits long, but in Satisfactory it's like 40,000, and it never fucking ends. It's constantly updating and changing, and the way your personal priorities work is always different. I need fucking power. I need transportation system to get the fucking power. I need fucking water for the power. I need fucking this and this and this.
Yeah.
Steel and iron and copper and whatever that fucking gold thing is. And you're constant. Hey?
I don't know. Catwire.
Catwire, yeah. Like you're constantly fucking changing what you need, and it's never ending, and it's fucking crazy how fucking deep it can go. And at the same time, you're learning more about the world and learning more about how to do things in more efficient ways and more intelligent ways. Like you're constantly learning all these things, and that every time you learn something new, it changes that priority listing, and that in itself is phenomenal, is fascinating. And it's so easy to lose a billion fucking hours in a game like that, because why wouldn't you when there's that much going on? It makes sense.
I was also curious whether or not you missed out on some of that sort of learning phase, because like you said, I think pretty much when you started playing, I jumped in, and we were doing the tutorial stage, but also I was explaining to you how a lot of these systems work, and blah blah blah, and then we played for a couple hours, and then I disappeared, or some of the other guys came in our group, and they started playing, and they've played a lot more than what I have. And so all of a sudden now they're telling you how to do things and all that sort of stuff. So I'm wondering if a lot of that, you definitely, we had experiences where we were learning how to do things better, but at the same time, you were sort of missing a lot of it as well, because people were coming in and being like, oh, this is how you do this type stuff. And I was getting to that point as well when I jumped in, I don't know, 2 days after you started playing. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? You've surpassed where I was at. I don't think you had, but your layout was completely different to the way my base was. And then the next day was even further. It was you guys were getting oil and all this other crap. I'm I don't even know. At that stage, you guys have passed me, and now I'm lost because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go build storage units because I don't know what any of this oil stuff is and how that works. I'm wondering if you missed out on a bunch of that sort of stuff as well.
I definitely think I did. I 100% agree. And I think that might have hurt my enjoyment of the game. And I don't but I wouldn't trade it. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. I think it plays well as a co-op game.
I think it's phenomenal as a co-op game. And I wouldn't trade my experience of it as a co-op game. And I think what it does in co-op is spectacular in its own way, because there's Satisfactory is this game about maximizing efficiency, and without having a fucking meeting and some blueprints and maybe a whiteboard, there is zero fucking chance you can maximize efficiency in co-op. Right? There's there were definitely times, I'll get to this in a bit, but like, I felt like a foreman most of the time, right? Like, I wasn't actively involved so much
In
of
your
the time
planning.
in the fucking active building. Even like,
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, I'd be like, oh yeah, I think, like, I guess we need to do this. We need these things. We should do this. And it would be done, right? So I had an idea, like, I guess, in the sense that I'm very grateful that you and Praetorian and Dr.
I
E3
let you
Money,
push the button a lot. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
push the
you were
button.
very, very helpful in allowing me to do the parts. But like, no, I'm very grateful that you and Praetorian and Dr. E3 Money, like, were obviously cognizant of the idea that it was my game and that I was new, and that, like, you didn't rob me of, I think, those, like, I think it would have been very easy to be like, oh yeah, new game, all right, let's do this. Okay, push the button, let's move on. Okay, we got the iron bars we need, moving on. Okay, we got the fucking rods and the screws. Next, we got these plates. Next.
Yeah.
All right, Joab, you just do this and this and this. No, don't put it there. We'll put it here. No, don't do that. Do this. Instead, I'd be like, well, I guess we need we need more fucking wire. So I guess we'll do this. And you guys would be like, cool. All right, let's do that. And I'd build some fucking bodge job fucking factory shit. And then I'd, like, yeah, this was like playing, this is what I imagine playing shooters is like when people play shooters with us.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what I think Praetorian must feel like when Praetorian plays shooters with us, right? Because he would, like, run around and fucking do the things he does, right? And turn around, and you, me, and Nate have fucking, like, killed like 15 people, and he'd be like, hey guys, I found a rocket launcher, and shoot fucking Nate in the back or something, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, well, that wasn't fucking helpful. What the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Right? That's what I'm like in Satisfactory. I'd be like, hey guys, I made a fucking I'm making steel by manually feeding wood into this burner that turns it into biomass, that turns it into charcoal, that turns it into steel eventually.
Yeah.
And you guys be like,
what?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Why would you do it that way? I'm like, well, it works. You'd be like, don't you have to go back to it every fucking 10 minutes to feed more wood into it? I'm like, that's a good point. I've changed it to alien organs. So now I have to go back every 20 minutes. And you'd be like, okay, well, while you were doing that, we've set up a steel factory over here with this charcoal that we found on top of a mountain. And now the charcoal feeds into via this conveyor belt that is 4 times more efficient. Not by basic standards of not having to feed the fucking thing alien parts every 3 fucking minutes, but more in the sense that it is you're using level 1 conveyor belts for some unbelievable reason. We're using level 4 shit, and it zips over here, combines over here, turns into a fucking rotor, turns into a motor, and my factory has created 14,000 motors, while yours appears to be stuck because you're feeding it with the wrong kind of screws. And we're like, but I made it myself. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, yeah, this, like, honestly, this must be what people feel like when they play fucking shooters with this. Because we're like, we've got this, like, unspoken agreement. We just go, like, that's the other thing I noticed while I was playing Satisfactory is nobody said anything for, like, large periods of time. People were just doing shit.
Yeah.
Like people would just get shit done, and then like you turn around, and like obviously I've made like some fucking bodge job copper fucking mine, and like I stretched a tube from one side of the map to the other so that we could get to our coal power plants faster. And while I was doing that, you and Drew had made 16 coal power plants to power the dumb fucking tube that I created. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. But like none of that, nobody would talk. And like what was fascinating was like I didn't need to talk to anyone about making the tube, right? I needed to talk to you when you redirected the tube to fling me off the fucking cliff. But outside of that, I didn't need to talk to anyone about making the tube, right? And that makes sense because nobody, like, there's no discussion needed, right? I'm making a tube. There's no communication. It's not a collaborative effort. Only one person needs to make a tube. It's probably harder if two people are making it.
Yeah.
But what was fascinating was that you didn't need to talk to Drew about making the coal power plants either, right? There was discussion afterwards about the spaghettiness of your water pipes because Drew has some fucking anal tendencies about how straight and narrow fucking water pipes are supposed to be.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, it was just like, yep, well, we've done these power. And that's what it's like when we're playing fucking Warzone. Is like, we'll just run around. Like, there's no discussion needed. We're just like, yep, okay, we're going for that guy. And then when we get to where that team is, we just murder them. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, this needs to happen. Oh, this is happening. The only time anyone discusses anything is when things have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Like the fucking water pipes. But outside of that, we know what everyone else is like. We just instinctively know how we all play together and it works out, which is fantastic. Phenomenal.
But then you have like the opposite of that as well, of the like the problem solving side of the game of like, all right, how we've got this thing we need to do. How do we like get from point A to point B? Like, how do we fix that? Or like, how do we build that? The one that comes to mind for us, I think the first sort of hurdle was the power situation, right? Where we built all these coal plants. And then Drew joined the game. Remember, he joined and he broke something.
Yeah, he broke something.
Yeah, he definitely broke something.
Sabotage. It was definitely sabotage.
Yeah, he sabotaged the game. And then so we went down to the coal plants and we're like, how do we fix this? And we ended up coming up with a solution of like, all right, because basically we had our coal plants powering our coal plants, like it was on a circuit, and so. We didn't need. It was like a closed circuit that was powering itself, like solar panels or something. And so when our coal power plant shut down, everything shut down, and you couldn't power up the coal
again.
Yeah, and we couldn't start it up again because we were like, we need coal to power our bases, but we can't because our power plants are down. Like, how do we start our power plants now? We've got no power, and we came up with the solution by isolating. Like taking our entire base off of the power network and then restarting it, which was like like something that it took us like minutes to figure out how we do this. But then once it happened every other time after that, we knew exactly what we needed to do.
Yeah. And it felt fucking like that felt awesome when we finally arrived at that solution. I mean, it would have been better if Drew had never sabotaged us in the first place. But like, once we got there, it was like, that's so fucking cool. Like, that makes sense. And so we like now because we got like that world, that game world now has 2 power plant locations. It's got coal and it's got oil. We never took the coal down because it's not like there's no need to, right? There's no reason to remove a network, a power network, and you basically just be like, even though the oil power plants are churning out like multiple times the amount of the coal, it's still any power is power, so fuck it.
And it's automatic as well. So
yeah. but we've still got like these little kickstart engine, like power engines next to each power plant system, so that we can do that when the power inevitably goes down. Because I don't know if you logged in time to see Gerald's hypertube cannon, special beam cannons.
Yeah.
They take so much fucking power, and he will not stop building them. Gerald Praetorian will not stop fucking building these fucking things, and they go everywhere now. The first time I used one, he didn't tell me that you have to fucking manage your own speed, but it flung me off the map.
I died the first time I used it as well.
Yeah, like just and it landed like, I don't know, like it sort of works out a relative position about where you were. It's like it's not frame perfect or whatever. But it'll be like, oh yeah, you were like here when you died, and because I was in the middle of the fucking air flying out to space, where here happens to be on top of a fucking mountain, and the only way for me to get up there is using a jetpack, and the jetpack is in my dead fucking the box that holds my dead shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Gerald had to fly up to the Praetorian had to fly up to the fucking top of the fucking mountain and grab my jetpack for me. So I go get my shit. It was phenomenal. There were giant monsters at the top of the mountain. Anyway, yeah, he just keeps building them. And that's like, I guess that's the other thing is like, nobody told him to build these cannons. I was like, oh, I want to see the cannons. I definitely did want to see the cannons. And they are phenomenally convenient. Way more convenient than anything else. But at the same time, they're a huge draw on power. And I think when I logged off last time, we literally just we logged off because we lost power. And we weren't it was going to take at least half an hour to get it back running again.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I quit the game right now, we'll just revert to the save before we lost power, and it's probably going to be easier that way. Yeah. Whatever we added before then, we just won't add. Whatever we added in the last 5 minutes, we just won't fucking add. And then I didn't go back. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It is a phenomenal game, and I definitely think I missed out on a lot of the learning experience. But I also am glad I played it the way I did. I don't think I'll ever. The thing is, I don't think I'll ever reach a point where I care to play it in the way that you guys do. Right, I actually when I say I felt like I was the foreman, right? I wound up preferring that anyway.
Right.
I think there's definitely something satisfying in the puzzle solving element of sitting there at I found a copper node just before I quit. I resolved to create a functioning copper mine that lived up to the standards set by you three, Praetorian, you, and Dr. E3 Money, right? Something that actually functioned at peak efficiency and pumped out exactly what I needed. And yeah, I think that made sense. And I created it. It's almost definitely what took down the fucking power network. Most of it wasn't actually, most of the time I spent wasn't actually building. Most of the time was sitting there working out how it would actually look. And I think there's I'm pretty sure there are websites. You were saying last week there are websites you can go to.
Yeah, templates, efficiency templates or something.
Yeah. I didn't look at any of that. I wanted to work it out myself, and I got a lot out of working it out myself. But at the end, when I took down the power network, I just didn't. I was like, that's awesome. I worked that out. I wouldn't want to do that every time. I just wouldn't want to. I don't want to, like, I had to, like, it was sort of going off this fucking hill. So I had to build this fucking foundation. And I don't want to, like, putting fucking square by square by square by square every fucking time. Like,
Yep.
Can't I just paint some fucking foundation on the floor? Like, I see this. I was on the subreddit a bit in downtime, looking at what people have created, and they've got these big fucking factories, these actual factories with walls and ceilings and floors and elevators and all this kind of shit. I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't have the fucking, like, not if I had to put the fucking floor down square by square.
Yeah.
Every wall up,
like Minecraft level stuff.
Right? Like, absolutely no fucking way. I just don't. But, like, the other thing is that it seems to be significantly more annoying to put down platforms than fucking Minecraft is. Like, I don't know, it just snaps weird and stuff. So, that was pretty bad.
It's early access still.
Oh, 100%. I'm not, like, I'm not dragging the game or anything. I just, I don't have anywhere near the patience required to do that. The other thing I noticed is that, like, they've got to do something about the progression loop, because we got to that, like, we didn't do the last space elevator thing. We got, I set it up so that we got all of the parts. We actually got to stage 4 of the space elevator. So as you play through the game, your progress is sort of locked behind this, the requirements. You got to send things on this space elevator. And that allows you to build other things. And we were locked from tiers 7 and 8 until we get stage 4 of the space elevator. And stage 4 of the space elevator required like 2,500 of these things that had taken us 8 hours to build fucking 400 of. And it needed like 500 of these other things that required like 16 fucking components, some shit. And like, all right. That was like, we were there before Sunday, right? We were there and I still played for another 12 hours. But I think mentally I knew I was never going to make all that shit.
Yeah.
Because it required too much. It was too tedious an idea, right? At that point, it was an idle game.
Yeah.
Right?
Hit the wall.
Where you had to be playing the whole time. Where my computer had to be on the entire fucking time. Like, and that's good for no one. That doesn't work, in my opinion. That doesn't fucking work. And yeah. Like, yeah. I think they need to rejig the progression pretty heavily to make that work correctly, because the alternative is, I think I'm far from the only person who will hit that wall, you know?
Yeah.
I do not think that I am alone in hitting that wall.
And I wonder if there's like a prestige thing they need to put in there, because rather than have it being this really long slog, have it like be a bit easier to get through the first time, and then the second time a little bit.
Oh, you reckon lean into the idle thing?
Yeah, because I think, like I said last week, I think it's that same sort of feeling. Like, it feels 100%. Like it scratches that idle game sort of mentality.
I mean, I left it on overnight.
Yeah,
I left the game on and running overnight and came back the next morning. Probably the only reason it succeeded in running overnight is because Drew spent an hour after I logged out at fucking midnight building out the power plant.
Yeah.
Like, in a significant way. But yeah, like building out both power plants, I think it was.
Yeah.
In a way that actually made it useful. But yeah, like I 100% agree that the idle thing is there. I just don't know if you want to lean into it too hard, unless you go full idle, right? I think my problem is It's idle, but you have to. It need like if
dedicated servers.
The guys are talking about dedicated servers, and if it had a dedicated server, yeah, I 100% agree. You could actually blow out the progression significantly if it had dedicated servers and it was always running, and you could like set shit up and come back at any time to check in on it. 100%. Do prestige, tighten that fucking like every time you prestige, you tighten that loop. Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. Like a full 3D idle game, I think that would be fucking phenomenal. But until it's dedicated servers happen, it's too resource intensive, I think.
But also it's that learning experience, right? You get in, you understand like, I build a I don't know, a constructor, and then that constructor is building this thing, and that's how you set it up and lay it out. But then the next time you play it, you like, actually, if I put this here and this here, it makes it more efficient. And then 10 hours later, you find like another way to make it even more efficient. And like, it's that learning thing of the next time you go back to it and restart, you know a better way of building all this layout. And so things are a bit smoother. And so that makes the game go quicker again. So you can sort of play with that progression that way. Because when you and I were playing, I was like laying down foundation, and I had my, I think we were doing iron or something, and then I had like 4 or 5 smelters, and then they were going into making sheets, and then that was going on to doing the next thing, and like the next day I come back and there's just like fucking conveyor belts running everywhere. Like we had it all nice and tidy, and then like, what's going on here? Like there's just fucking a giant conveyor belt everywhere. Like playing completely differently to the way that I had set it up. Like in my game, I've got a transport vehicle that's moving iron, that's moving coal backwards and forwards, whereas their solution was just to run fucking a giant conveyor belt halfway across the map, and like, that'll do, easy, done. Yeah, we made a train. Okay, yeah.
Actually, the last thing I did before I bailed was we made a train.
Cool.
And it's a loop between our oil factory, which makes plastic and rubber, and our second base, which the guys were pitching, we call the new base, even though or the main base, actually, I think they were pitching, but main base is where the fucking space elevator is, in my opinion. But it loops between those two, and it does plastic and rubber. And when we finished doing it, it was cool, and we had a train, and all I could think was, how is this any better than just doing treadmills? Like, what was the fucking point of this? Like, we already, like, I diverted the treadmill, the conveyor belt, from what it was doing into the train.
Yeah.
And I think it was a net, like, 0 gain in efficiency. I think it did nothing. It may have been slightly less efficient.
Right.
And it's like, it turns
out why should I build that?
Why did we do this? It turns out like you need fucking multiple, like 6 fucking resources on the train for it to actually be worth the effort.
Yeah.
All right. Once you're at that level,
so like it's stopping to different like stations. Yeah.
Or you don't have like fucking. You don't have to make 6 conveyor belts the same fucking distance. You know.
Okay.
But yeah, we hadn't been doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like at the end, like I will 100% play Satisfactory again when it's finished.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes after tier 7 and 8, but I presume it goes nowhere. I don't think there's like narrative in the game yet.
There's none, as far as I know.
Yeah.
There's stuff in the game that's I think is work in progress, but there's no narrative at all.
Yeah. I think it's a game that needs a narrative. One thing I'd love to see, and I wasn't sure if this was happening. I get the feeling that it wasn't. I never looked it up. I probably should have. A couple of times I'd go to our oil factory, and it would be like super foggy.
Okay.
I couldn't tell if that was pollution
Oh.
or if it was just a weather effect that happens sometimes, because certainly a lot of the time I'd go there and there was no fog. But I think it'd be fucking amazing if you setting up 40 fucking fuel generator fucking power plants,
Yeah.
like polluted the fuck out of the world. And suddenly you're in this situation where you're like, it'd make you reflect on your impact on this fucking environment. And I don't think that's happening on any level in the game in its current state. And obviously it's very early days.
No, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to see them do something like that. I have no idea if they will or not, but I think that it'd be really good if they did. So I think it's something that needs to be explored, you know?
Right.
Yeah, if I thought we were the fucking villains in a Captain Planet fucking episode in fucking the forest, get the fuck out of here in Satisfactory. We're not like, we're the henchmen in the forest. We are the fat guy with the pig nose in fucking Satisfactory. We are like, we might be Captain Planet's arch nemesis at that point. Like, yeah, we are pillaging that planet like nothing else. Yeah. Anyway,
one thing I'm curious to see how they address is the performance of the game.
Yeah,
because it's like we said, it's a huge map, but also the things you end up building, even in this small section of the map that you're using, is insane. How is it keeping track of all that stuff? Even at the points where we were playing, you could see conveyor belts like not working properly. It had sort of fade in and out, and stuff on the conveyor belt wasn't really where it was supposed to be. Like, how are they keeping track of all that information? And then on top of that, it was also a little bit laggy it wasn't just me, but some of the other guys as well. So like, what sort of toll does that take on the game, and how?
Oh, by the time I finished playing, anytime it auto-saved, which it does every 5 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
It dropped to like 11 frames a second.
Yeah.
And if I happen to be like, the other thing is, if I happen to use the special beam cannon while it was frame dropping, I don't know what would happen. Like, something would go on, but it would like accidentally loop me back into a couple of the other ones, and I'd gain way more speed than I was supposed to, and it flung me off the fucking world a couple of times just out of lag.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 11 frames a second is pretty fucking bad. Like, it's totally understandable considering what is going on in this game and how spread out it is. I don't know how bad the performance gets for you. I assume it's worse for me because I am the host. I'm player hosting. That makes sense. But yeah, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where I died a couple of times because I was on top of like all those storage containers that were in the middle of the sky, and I would just warp like out of the way. I'm like, oh, okay, guess I'm dead now. So yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do with or if they can. Like, can you do anything to fix that? I guess we gotta see. But anyway, yeah, I think it's it's such an extraordinary game that does really unique gameplay, things that I've not really seen on a first-person game like that before, like a building game.
Yeah.
I've always had fun building stuff in like the forest or, you know, that sort of thing. But this is on like a completely different level. That, yeah, I think everybody should at least check it out at some stage, because maybe wait for it to be finished. But it's so fascinating what they're doing in that game. All right.
Yep.
Is that it? Anything else to add?
No.
No. All right.
I don't think so.
Do some news then.
Let's do it.
A lot of news going on here. I guess the biggest one for this week is that Halo Infinite has been delayed till 2021. Along with that, they've Microsoft has also confirmed the Xbox Series X will still be launching, and they've given a rough launch window of November this year, which is kind of what we sort of guessed anyway. But I don't think anyone guessed that Halo was going to be delayed.
No. No. I mean, I'm not surprised, and I think they should take their time to make the best game they can and something that they're proud of. And you know, I always think that's very valuable. You know, what's that quote? The quote is, you know, it goes whatever fucking I don't fucking know. I don't know. Delay a game and make it great, or I don't know, release it now and it's shit.
A Nintendo quote,
like
right?
That's the quote. Yeah, they definitely use the word shit in their quotes. In Nintendo. So anyway, yeah, delay it, make it the best game you can. But I think, you know, that what we saw was not a game that was ready. Not going to be ready in fucking November. Yeah, you could tell. If that's what they were showcasing, that game was not fucking ready in November.
Sure.
It's better to fucking drop it when it's ready as opposed to release it and then sometime down the fucking line they managed to add the ray tracing feature that is supposed to be the flagship feature of the fucking console.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway. That's a big decision though, right? For them to postpone their tentpole release for their brand new console.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like I like, it's good that they've done it, but at the same time, this is definitely going to hurt launch sales for this console. Like, I think at this point, PlayStation definitely has the upper hand, unless like Sony looks at this and they're like, "Whoa, all right, maybe we can do the same. Maybe we don't need a Spider-Man game at launch. Maybe we can give it, you know, 3-4 more months in development if it needs it." So, yeah, I just feel like that at this point in time, Sony's got the upper hand unless something else changes, because nobody's going out to buy a brand new console so they can play, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. The only way I see them saving this is they team up with Cyberpunk. Oh, yeah. They've already done stuff with Cyberpunk, right? So
yeah.
I don't know if what they can do there without pissing off a lot of people. But if they can do something to try and save this, then, you know, maybe they can cut a deal. Maybe they can give away free copies of Cyberpunk or something like that with this console. I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see what they can try and do with this. So, yeah, massive deal for them.
Delay the console, honestly.
They've said they're not going to delay it.
Yeah, but they said Halo was coming out at a certain date as well. So,
yeah,
or in a certain window anyway. Yeah, it might be time. I don't know. It just seems like, yeah, they are not. The path to victory out of this one doesn't look that good. It's one of those scary paths with wolves howling on the side, and you're like, oh, which path is the PlayStation going to take? And it's like fucking rainbows and unicorns and shit. And you're like, maybe you should wait until you can take that path. You know, at least give yourself a fucking chance. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect the longevity of the console at all. Like, it's purely in terms of launch stats, then it's going to be a big deal. But at the end of the day, the Xbox is still the more powerful console.
But launch, like, that's the thing is, right? Yeah. That matters. It actually matters. Like, it winds up mattering quite a bit because people aren't dorks like us buying both fucking consoles. People pick one and that's it. People invest in these ecosystems, you know, and at best in a launch like this, will retain the people who are too invested in one ecosystem to leave.
Sure.
But like, if your option is, oh, I can play fucking like Game Pass for Windows.
Yeah. That's not a bad
have
deal.
a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
then why wouldn't you do that? And why would you get an Xbox at all at that point? You're still getting most of the Xbox, like 99% of the fucking Xbox games will still wind up on your PC platform. So that launch window that launch actually does matter. Like, and if you can't see any reason, I guess that speaks to why you can't change the window. But it might be better to have a really strong launch than to have a weak launch. As opposed to delaying. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we'll probably hear more about some Xbox stuff soon, because the Xbox Series X/S controller packaging leaked for this, which also confirms there is a second Xbox Series unit. I mean, we're all speculating that was going to be called the S anyway. That seems to be correct. It's been verified by a couple of gaming websites as well that this packaging is real. It seems like the boxes somehow got in the distribution chain of retailers and out in the wild. I mean, there's people even suggesting that it's possible Xbox starts selling the controllers early at this stage because they're compatible with the current Xbox, and you could even use it on the PC. Getting those peripherals out there early,
phone, right?
Yeah, why not? So we may hear about something soon where they're like, hey, by the way, we've got a second Xbox and you can use those controllers tomorrow. Could be something like that. But I guess the big news out of this is that there is going to be a second Xbox, and it looks like it's coming. We don't know what it's, other than that it's going to be like a lower powered, cheaper Xbox. But we'll probably find out more at their next event, which won't be called the 2020 event because they've scrapped that name. Don't know if you saw this as well. They've decided not to do that anymore.
All right.
That didn't go too well. Next up, we got the Sony State of Play. Did you get a chance to watch this at all? This was more focused on... They were very careful about saying there won't be any PlayStation 5 announcements here. It's going to be stuff you've seen before, or like PlayStation 4 announcements. But I still watched it, and I thought it was really good. They showed off a bunch of games and talked about some new games that look really interesting. Did you end up seeing any of it at all?
No, I didn't watch. I didn't watch the full thing. I watched the like trailers and read up on it.
Yeah,
I think it had some cool stuff.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot 4 looks pretty cool. I think the really interesting thing they're doing with this game is they've got another studio working on this game, which is I believe Binox, who have made a bunch of like Spider-Man games in the past. They're basically being brought in to do like remixed versions of the existing levels and have like a spin on them, so that once you finish these levels, you can go back in and replay them, and they'll play differently. They'll have like a different art style or different like gameplay elements to them, and each level will be like a different theme. And I thought that was really interesting, like having another studio come in and put their spin on these levels and just having it be in there for replayability purposes. Seems like a really interesting idea. Did you get a chance to see any of that at all?
No, I didn't. Which I sort of like. I saw the story on it. But no, I didn't. I'll go back and watch it. I didn't. Think
it just looks cool.
Worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was worth. Anyway.
I'm not a Crash Bandicoot fan. I
was more interested in Hitman.
Yeah, that's on here. Hitman 3 is adding VR in January, but that's PlayStation. It's not confirmed for PC yet.
It's going to be fucking bananas in VR. The game is going to be fucking bananas. It's already bananas. It's going to be fucking bananas in VR.
Right.
I'm in. Hopefully it's PC. Hopefully it makes it to PC.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's like an exclusive 3-month deal or something like that, like a limited time release, and then they'll bring it to PC eventually.
I don't care.
Yeah. But that's Hitman 3, so that's all the original. That's the original games as well, like 1 and 2. the whole trilogy.
It's
That
all
looks
in the same platform. Yeah.
looks insane.
Hmm.
They also talked about Braid Anniversary Edition, which they're going in and redoing all the art for that. So people that liked the Braid game. Another game they showed off was called Hood, Outlaws, and Legends, which is a take on, I guess, the Robin Hood franchise. What do you call it? IP?
Yeah. IP.
I don't know. I feel like you guys were more interested in this than I was. I saw it and I was like, I don't understand what the game is. They showed like 5 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah, I didn't need that
didn't
much.
really
Like
get it.
I read up on it, and it's like a
Right.
fucking competitive heisting game. I think that's
Okay.
pretty fucking cool. I'm about it.
Yeah.
I got the feeling that you can like fuck with the other team as well, which I think is fucking gonna be amazing. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. I'm excited for the idea of it at the very least.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not-
Next up we've got Aeon Must Die. Not necessarily talking about the games, although it looks really cool. After this was announced, a bunch of developers came out and said that that game has been stolen from them by the I guess the people that own the IP rights, so the main developer. Everybody that worked on that game has since
like the CEO of the company, not the main developer.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So the developers basically resigned and left after poor working conditions and harassment and things like that. And they're currently in a dispute to try and get the game back. But since then, it's now appeared on in partnership with a Sony event. And the publisher, Focus Home Interactive, is investigating the issue, according to their Twitter page. This is a really strange story that sort of popped up. Like the developers being like, yeah, this is our game, it's been stolen, and we don't know why it's being shown off. Like someone else has made this trailer, not us. It's nuts. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that at some stage. The other news, or the other game they showed off was Godfall. Some gameplay for that. Yeah. I feel like I need to play that game to get a sense of what it is, because it's not doing a lot at this point. This is the Gearbox published game. Yeah. All right, that was the Sony State of Play. I thought it was good. I thought there was a lot of stuff they showed there that looked interesting. Was there anything else that sort of stood out to you that you can think of?
No. Not off the top of my head.
I guess the other one, there was one, which I left off here, but it's down on our list. The Control DLC. It's called Control AWE, which stands for Altered World Event. This was shown off during the Sony State of Play. It's the next expansion releasing for Control this August. So in about 2 weeks it'll be out. This is focusing on, I guess, the Alan Wake universe. Spoilers for Control, but there's a bunch of Alan Wake references in that game that you can find. And they're calling this one, what they're saying is now officially the Remedy Connected Universe. And it's the first crossover event for these games. So I guess if you haven't played a bunch of Remedy games, they've made... they start off with Max Payne. They made their Alan Wake, and then they went on to do Quantum Break with Microsoft, and then Control. There's always been like little Easter eggs in all of those games. Alan Wake had a section in there where you were in like Alan's apartment in New York, and it was snowing outside, and they're talking. The weather forecast is talking about like the worst blizzard they've ever seen, and that's like a reference to Max Payne. The story of Max Payne is basically that. You go to Quantum Break, there's a lot of references to Alan Wake in that game, and then you play Control, and there's references to Max Payne in that game. There are references to Control, and there are references to Quantum Break, the stuff that happens in Quantum Break as well. And Remedy never really sort of came out and said, yeah, like, you know, our games are sort of, we like to connect them in some way, but you know, the Alan Wake one was a really big one because there's a lot of stuff in Control that points to Alan Wake. It was really interesting. So now they're saying, no, this is actually they weren't Easter eggs. Like these games are sort of tied together in some way. And this was hinted back until there was a blog post about 10 years ago that was put up on the internet. It was sort of like a little ARG type thing that Sam Lake did on a website. I don't remember if you recall this, but it was hinting at some stuff that happened in Alan Wake, but also references stuff that happens in Control as well. The town Jesse's from and the things that happen in there is referenced in these series of blog posts that span over months and months and months that Sam Lake was writing. So it's not like necessarily like this thing they're like, oh, let's dodge up this thing and we'll have this connected universe thing. It seems like this is actually, they've been planning it for a long time.
I feel like I read that that there's like the oldest house is like straight up in Alan Wake or something. I can't remember. I can't find it either. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking well seated, like fully fucking in there, which is rad. It's very cool.
Yeah. I'm just trying to. It's called, I think, the House of Dreams. Yeah, it's a blog post which was started in June 2012. And it has references. I mean, the House of Dreams. It's got references to the place where Jesse is from, and just like weird things that are happening there. So anyway, it's really cool, all the seeding that they've done for this. But the idea is that this DLC will focus on the Federal Bureau of Control investigating Bright Falls, which is what happened in the events of Alan Wake. So yeah, man, like, and they briefly show you a glimpse of Alan Wake in Control. They tease him. So that's cool. I'm so interested to see what they're doing with this. They also said that they're working on a brand new game, which is set in the Remedy connected universe. They didn't say what it is. They didn't say if it's a Control sequel. They didn't say if it's an Alan Wake sequel. They didn't say if it's a new IP. All they're saying is that it's set in this world. So yeah, I'm keen to see what this is. I hope it's as good as they're hyping it up to be. This DLC, at least. I'm so excited for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really want to wait for my new graphics card before I play Control again. But it's tough. It's a tough wait.
Yeah.
I know I've seen how good it looks with like full RTX shit, but yeah, it's getting fucking rough.
Yeah, it's one of the best examples of ray tracing that's out there.
Yeah.
The next one might be could be Cyberpunk, I think.
Yeah.
Might go pretty ham. Some more Control news, controversial Control news. They're releasing a version called the Ultimate Edition, which will come out August 27th. That's the same date as this DLC. It'll have a free digital upgrade for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, but you can only get that if you buy the Ultimate Edition. People are very annoyed at this because the people that bought the original Season Pass are being left out of this free upgrade. So if you bought Control and the Season Pass for the game back when it was released, you don't get this free upgrade for the new consoles. I think this is a fucking giant misstep by the publisher.
They've got to fucking walk this shit back. It is a fucking dick punch, 100%. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. All it's going to do is generate like bad fucking vibes. If I was Remedy, I'd be fucking pissed.
I'm sure they are.
People are happy about this.
Yeah. I mean, Remedy is usually seen as a very good studio, and this doesn't seem like a Remedy thing. This seems more like 505 Games, like from the publisher side, doing this deal. So I would not be surprised if they sort something out. Like if they come back and say, all right, if you've bought the Season Pass, you'll get that upgrade. Don't worry about it. We've sorted it out. But at this stage, they've not said anything. And this was announced this morning, so it's possible we could be talking about this next week again once they've fixed it, because they absolutely should. It's horrendous. This is like an EA fucking thing. Something EA would do. Anyway, next up, Vampire Masquerade 2 has been delayed until next year, which is surprising because I didn't even know it was coming out this year at this point.
It was supposed to come out early this year.
Yeah.
It should have been out already. So it's already been delayed once. So I'm surprised, to be honest.
I think they'd probably just get out of the way of Cyberpunk. I think everybody's just doing the Red Dead's coming out this year.
Might be smart.
I'll see ya.
Yep.
Like this year, it's Cyberpunk's coming out this year. See ya.
Bye, Felicia. Yep. It's a smart plan, especially because Cyberpunk keeps looking bigger and bigger and more impressive and more fucking weighty. Although I watched that fucking Nightwire 2 and I got a real fucking, I don't know why, I got a real rage vibe from it, which that's not good.
You know what we need to do for this though is before we start playing, we need to figure out what path we're taking, because there's the three paths, right? There's like Street Kid, Nomad, and Corpo. Corpo or Corporate? Is that Corpo? We need to figure out what we're playing so that we don't pick the same.
Okay, we'll definitely deliberately go different things. Okay.
Is there one you're leaning towards more?
I was thinking Street Kid or Corpo.
Yeah, that's
definitely not Outlander or whatever the fuck they're called. Nomad. Definitely not a Nomad. They look shit. Yeah.
All right. We'll figure it out because or see what happens if we get review code. I feel like we're gonna get shafted on this one.
Yeah, that's seeming unlikely. But yeah.
Anyway, Vampire Masquerade 2 delayed till next year.
Masquerade. Did you say Masquerade? You definitely did.
Masquerade.
Masquerade.
Splinter Cell. Sam Fisher. He's coming to Rainbow Six Siege. What?
He sure is. How fucking exciting.
He's showing up everywhere these days, except for his own games.
Except for in his own game. Yeah. I just don't think he doesn't really fit with what Ubisoft does these days, huh?
Like the live service
game wouldn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Does it? I don't think it does. How are you supposed to sell skins for a fucking Splinter Cell game? I just don't see it. Even if they brought back, what was that the fucking guards versus Splinter
For Honor
Cell. No, the multiplayer mode from Chaos Theory.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, asymmetrical, really cool.
Yeah.
They're
doing Beyond Good and Evil, right? It's not a live service game.
Are they doing Beyond Good and Evil?
It's a ruse. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see them do another. Those Splinter Cell games have always been awesome. They've been really good.
Cool. Yeah, mostly been awesome.
Yeah.
We'll be able to talk about this more next week.
Rainbow Six Siege, yes, not Splinter Cell.
There's
no surprise Splinter Cell game being released.
No, very true. But yes.
Any theories on how he works?
No. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Do you have any theories on how he works? And I'm just going to I need the codenames box to put over my face so I don't react to anything.
I'm going to guess there's going to be something to do with his night vision goggles. Whether or not he can turn out all the lights, that would be really interesting. But I think his night vision goggles could do something, whether it's like a thermal vision or something like that. Yeah, because his goggles are always this iconic thing, right? And I think that needs to be tied to the way his goggles work. He flicks them down and he can see through walls, or I don't know. We'll see. Joab?
Cool.
Wink with your left eye.
I'm not saying anything. Get the fuck out of here. What's the next piece of news?
Next piece of news is a big piece of news. We've got
Rocksteady
has announced they are working on a Suicide Squad game, which will be revealed more in detail August 22nd at DC Fandome. Like, it's not fandom. It's Fandome. No. Like, it's a dome of fans. Yes.
Perfect.
They released a teaser image of not Superman, but it could be a different Superman, like a infected Superman or like a Bizarro or something like that. that has
I
a
think it's
Suicide
bizarre.
Squad logo in the shape of like a crosshair, like a target locked.
Mm.
Yeah. This is interesting because Rocksteady's been rumored to be working on something in the Batman universe for a while. Or I guess back in the day, they were working on a Superman game, right? And that never got off the ground.
Yep.
A different studio was working on a Suicide Squad game. I don't remember if it was Montreal, but there was a studio working on a Suicide Squad game. They ended up leaving, and now Rocksteady is working on a Suicide Squad game. I feel like this could be something that we maybe don't see for a couple of years. At least released the last time Rocksteady released a game, I think was 4 years ago, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 20. Oh, no, it was 5 years ago, 2015. Arkham Knight.
That's crazy.
But if they were working on a Superman game, that would have taken a while. And if that got cancelled, then they're now on this thing. It still could be another year or two, at least, would be my theory. But anyway, is a Suicide Squad game surprising to you?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Because wasn't there a rumor they could have been working on a Justice League game as well?
Yeah. That's so it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Right? Like you get told you're making a fucking, I don't know, an X-Men movie, and then suddenly you're on New Mutants or some shit. Like like oh. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a, I don't know, weird one, isn't it? But maybe it'll be good. I mean, Rocksteady, they've got a pretty good track record, you know.
Yeah. I mean that last game they made wasn't bad.
Notwithstanding.
Yeah.
How much of Arkham Knight was Batmobile shit? Whatever that portion was can go fuck itself, and the rest of the game was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was just way too much of the game was fucking Batmobile shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the rumor was that they were working on a Justice League game. Technically, this could be the Justice League game, or it shifted to a Suicide Squad game where the Suicide Squad is hunting the Justice League because they've been turned bad or something like that. And there's always that problem of how do you make a good Superman game anyway, because Superman's always overpowered. So I think that's interesting, the idea of you're not a Superman, you're going after Superman at this point. Anyway, that's cool. I like that a lot. So I guess we'll see more of this. Some sort of trailer released in a couple of weeks. And we'll have a better idea of what's going on.
Yep.
All right. And I think that's the news. I lost my page. Yep, was that the news? That's all the news. Have we got any questions?
That's all the news. We do have questions, I think. Yes. Let's see them. Let's see these questions. Fridge Monster Man writes, "Hi Joab, hi Luke. 2 questions, one serious, one silly. Serious question: how do you make spaghetti Skittles?" That's the serious question.
Okay.
Cook spaghetti, serve and garnish with Skittles, or do you add the Skittles in with the accompanying sauce? Oh, and which flavor of Skittles do you recommend? I tried Skittle Brow once. I was expecting rainbow wheat beer, but I couldn't taste the rainbow. I don't know, maybe Skittles needs to be added while brewing for the flavor to come through. How do you make spaghetti Skittles? I always imagined it would be added into the sauce, to be honest. So cook the flavor into the sauce. But I think you could probably garnish. I think it'd be an interesting garnish if you're, going for that spaghetti Skittles flavor. The garnish might be a better option to have it more pronounced, have the flavor more pronounced.
Right.
Luke, any thoughts?
I've never thought about this. No.
How about this? Okay. A new food bet. The Spaghetti Skittles food bet, Luke. The Spaghetti Skittles food bet.
Okay.
If you are able to stream Tenet in 2 fucking weeks.
No, that wasn't the thing. 2 weeks after it releases in the US.
It releases in the US 2 weeks after it releases. So
sometime in September.
If
in
you're
September.
17th, the 17th of September, if you're able to stream Tenet on or before the 17th of September, I will make spaghetti Skittles and I'll fucking film myself eating it. And
Yeah.
if you are not, you have to eat spaghetti Skittles.
Right.
And you can choose how you have your spaghetti Skittles.
Yeah.
It can be garnished or it can be in the sauce. But you got to have fucking spaghettis in Skittles. I mean, Skittles and spaghettis.
Right.
Yep.
I think we should say in September. If you're so confident.
Anytime in September?
Yeah.
That's
September.
a fucking 4-week period. It's coming in that. Like,
it comes out here in September.
On the 3rd of September. That's the start of September. You're fucking shifting this fucking date wildly. The 17th. The 17th. You said the 3rd at the start of the fucking podcast.
The week of the 17th?
The 17th is your deadline. That's your deadline.
I don't like that deadline.
Hey?
24th. Let's go 24th.
Deadline you get to fucking have. That's the deadline you get to fucking have.
Why are you so not confident?
Why are you not? Don't switch this about on me, motherfucker. Why are you not confident?
I'm confident. I just want an extra week buffer because I want that space.
Do. That's not confidence. That's not confidence. It's the opposite of confidence. If you were confident, you wouldn't need any buffer. You'd be like, fucking make it the 7th, Joe. See what happens.
Because I don't think it'll be the 7th. I think 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3, he says. You said 2. 17th. 17th is it. Deal or no deal?
Yeah,
I'll give you the 18th. I'll give you the 18th. You say all right.
When's the 18th? The Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's go Friday the 18th.
Okay. It's on. Okay.
Yeah, of November. Cool.
Spaghetti Skittles challenge is happening. Okay.
Sorry, that's a Wednesday.
What? No,
the 18th of November. Yep. Cool. All right.
Get the fuck out of here. 18th of September, and you better fucking eat these fucking Skittles, motherfucker.
I like Skittles. It's fine.
In spaghetti?
Have you had a Skittle brow?
Yeah, I have. I experienced the same thing. I did not find it to have that much Skittle flavor. I'll tell you about a Skittle flavor, fucking Skittle vodka.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you want to have your fucking Skittles in alcohol, is in vodka.
Yeah.
Takes a little while, but it packs a punch. You can really taste the fucking rainbow. And it tastes about fucking 16 times more fucking potent than regular vodka. I don't know why. And flavor of Skittles, which flavor do you prefer? I tell you what, I cannot eat sour Skittles.
Oh, really? I like
it. Yeah. We went to the movies one time, and me and Nate, what did we see? We saw something awful. I can't remember what it was.
Deep Blue Sea.
Sylvester Stallone was in it. It was terrible. And maybe Expendables 3? I don't know. It was awful. Whatever the fuck it was awful. And for some reason, Nate got like a fucking half-kilo bag of sour Skittles.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. And we ate the whole fucking bag. And I can't even look at a sour Skittle anymore. So regular Skittles for me will be going into the spaghetti Skittles that I will not be eating because Tenet is not making it out by the 18th of September on streaming. It's not happening. Streaming legally, by the way, just to clarify, there's no fucking, I can pirate stream it. None of that shit. Fucking legal streaming.
Yeah. No, I got a VPN. I think you're forgetting this.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. If it's out in Australia streaming, I gotcha. If it's in Russia, I gotcha. Doesn't matter. All right. Any other questions?
Not wishing to open the box here, but what happened to the frame of freight movement? Is it still a going concern? Did it run out of steam, or has it I don't know if I'm going to say this word. Metastasized into something else. It has definitely evolved its way into something else. It's grown. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there was a concerted movement by the people, the alt-right people behind like Breitbart to co-opt youths who were involved with the frame of freight movement into down alt-right pathways by exploiting their anger. And so it's definitely evolved far beyond the original desires to harass game journalists about game review scores that it was, or for being women. But other than that, I mean, you can still see its echoes everywhere, right? Like it's still felt, the impact of it is still felt by a lot of people.
The Last of Us too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fantastic fucking example. The fact that the voice actors were getting fucking death threats and shit is fucking heinous. And it may not be Gamergate in name anymore, but that's certainly the spirit of the concept, which is fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck that whole thing forever. I like the reverse of the silly and serious question. That's good. Anyway, good question, Fridge Monster Man.
Yeah,
always good. Johnny Bravo writes, "Hey gents, publishers promote their games in various ways in what seems to be a no-win scenario. If they promote their game as a CGI only promo, they get shit on. If they show you live pre-release gameplay, as Halo recently did, they get shit on. They design a specific and scripted gameplay scene for an event, such as E3, that is in any way different from release, they get shit on. Puddlegate or Aliens, Colonial Marines. What do you think is the best way for publishers to show off their games? Let game journos fucking play them, because then you don't wind up. You wouldn't have a Puddlegate if game journos played Spider-Man in the first place, because game journos invariably they successfully couch the preview in language that points out that it is pre-release and not necessarily reflective of the final fucking game. And I think everyone understands the concept of bullshot, the bullshot screenshot that is rendered in a way that might not, you always had fucking screenshots that would look better than what the final game. Nobody ever fucking complained about fucking Battlefield 4 looking crazy in initial screenshots and then not looking that good eventually when it was running, because people are like, well, yeah, that makes sense. That's how fucking computers work. They've got fucking supercomputers rendering this shit, and I'm playing on a fucking TNT 2. So nobody ever fucking complained about that shit back in the day when game journalists were doing this shit, but now it's fucking, oh yeah, we got to do a fucking, we got influencers. We paid this influencer $20,000 to stream it, and they don't say any of that shit because they're being paid. Yeah, they've been paid too much to say anything like that. So yeah.
But also the Puddlegate thing is a bad example of that, because it wasn't like a downgrade. It is literally they moved to Puddle. But I mean, there's other ways that sort of stuff stands out. Yeah, I don't know. I need to read the question again, but I feel like some people do it well. Like, there's certain situations where I'm like, I don't care that there's a CG trailer, but if they came out next week and showed me some CG trailers for Batman, I'd be like, fuck yeah, like that's cool, because I care about that universe, right? And I'm interested in that story. But when they come out and show me a CG trailer for Assassin's Creed, the Viking game, I'm like, I don't care. That doesn't interest me at all. That doesn't excite me at all, because I'm not invested in that world.
Yeah, but people who are get excited by that thing.
Right.
Someone was very upset when I edited that axe video to show off the magic axe.
Yeah.
Anyway, like it's one of those things. It depends on the timing. I mean, Halo got shit on because It's
Because it's
supposed to
out
be the
soon.
fucking flagship game, for a brand new console, and it didn't look like that. You know, like, yeah, it was in a bit of a position right from the fucking get go. Yeah, there are all kinds of reasons why these things don't work out inevitably, but most of them will be solved if they just let me preview every fucking game, or at least the ones I want to play.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing Alien Colonial Marines back in the day at E3 in a booth with Randy Pitchford narrating. You might have been in the same room at the time. I can't remember. Someone was in the room with me. But
No, I don't
like
think so.
that sort of stuff is also hard because it's, again, a game that's in development. Like, stuff change, and I think that's the problem, is that people don't understand that games take sometimes 5 years, 6 years to make, like the really AAA blockbuster ones. Even the ones that aren't, sometimes, 3-4 years. Things change, and sometimes the vision of it just doesn't work, and that's okay. And I think just a lot of people just don't understand that sometimes, and just don't get an idea of like, things just change. And it's not just games, like films and movies and music and all that sort of stuff. It's not constantly the same thing all the time. So I think getting upset about it is sometimes a bit far-fetched. I can understand some people getting upset, but at the same time, don't pre-order your game. Like, that's what it comes down to, right? Wait for some informed opinions. If we didn't have this whole pre-order culture, then a lot of it wouldn't be as bad. Like, people being upset, like, oh, this game looks worse than what it was when I pre-ordered it. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about communication, right? And there's like, communication takes two parties, right? Like, one person to talk and one person to listen. And if the listening party doesn't do their part, doesn't do their job, then you can't really be blamed for talking. Anyway, good question, JB. Good question.
Anyway,
that's it. That's all our questions.
That actually, just quickly, if you still got time,
Oh,
brings up a good point. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a lot of flack about IGN's review for Marvel's Avengers. They put up a review for this by playing the beta. It kind of got attacked at by two different sides. There was the media side attacking them, and then also the consumer side attacking them for being like, "Why is this up? You're reviewing a beta," type thing. Whereas the media were attacking them because they were reviewing a beta. I think that's fair, but also they were trying to game the Google SEO, like the way that Google ranks pages. So there was a bit of a fight there. What are your thoughts on sort of like reviews being looked at from a beta standpoint and starting there?
I mean, shit. Well, IGN was also already getting dragged when they did this. I got a message from the dude who wrote the Grounded review for IGN, because they reviewed it and gave it a 6. I mean, they arrived there 5 days after I did, but that's because I'm the LeBron James of game reviewing.
This is your GameSpot review.
I did the GameSpot review. So the guy reached out to me because he wanted to clarify a couple of points that he was getting dragged on, and it was nothing. He was getting dragged over nothing. But they were like, people were very upset. They were far more upset about IGN's than they were about the GameSpot one. I got copped a little bit of shit, but this dude was getting fucking hammered for reviewing an early access game, and it was very fucking weird. I said it last week. I do think early access games should be fucking reviewed. I don't think there is a problem with assigning them a score. I like that Metacritic has, in both cases, in IGN's and GameSpot's and a couple of others, noted that it is a early access score. It's not the final thing. And I think it reflects the state of the game as it is at that moment. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what a review is supposed to do. I do think that a beta is a very different prospect because you have a limited amount of time, and the purpose of a beta, even if the modern beta has been turned into more of a demo than a beta itself, you still wind up in a situation where the like not everything is running as well as it could be. You're talking about like server infrastructure that isn't like final, all that kind of thing, all those kinds of things, and I think it is pretty unethical to define that as a review of a beta. It's I understand the complaints of trying to game SEO. Because that is largely how Google rankings work. Is they've got like this obscure method for defining a site as an expert in something, and there are definitely ways to game your way into becoming an expert in certain things. The hard way is to write a lot about a subject, but there are easier ways by writing reviews early or stuff like that.
Yeah. So this is if you type into Google Marvel Avengers review, you'll get a list of reviews, and what will happen is if you're the first one there that is getting a lot of hits and a lot of engagement, then you'll be at the top of the page. And that's so IGN is trying to get at the top of the page by being there first and getting a lot of clicks at this point. So that's where some people in the media side are getting upset because they're sort of twisting the words of this review and sort of trying to get there first. They're saying that's not the case.
And yet, no, I understand. I just don't think you should do a review of a game that is in beta. The servers aren't online. Like the proper servers aren't online. I probably, seeing how it was functionally identical, you could probably have reviewed Fall Guys based on the technical alpha, but the server performance outside of the servers getting absolutely fucking hammered for the first 2 days, the server performance is like 100 times better now that the game is out compared to how it was playing when it was in technical alpha. Like that difference is, I think, it's A, measurable, and B, important. And so I definitely think they're up to some cheeky bricky shit playing the game that way. On the flip side, there's nothing wrong with doing something like Control.
Grounded.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Control,
I mean,
Grounded. Why do I keep saying one or the other? I don't know.
Grounded's available. You can buy it. Like it's out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You can pre-order Marvel Avengers, but you can't really play it.
No.
Anyway, contentious. That's the show. The Gap. That's us. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places you get your podcast from. If you do have a moment, please rate and review the show. Helps other people find us. If you want to send us questions, you can email us thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can jump in there, leave us questions, playing video games. We got a bunch of chat groups in there. Everything's going good. I think people were talking about Modern Warfare Warzone updates recently. I saw a bunch of that floating around. So you can interact with other people as well. That's cool. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/the GA podcast, twitter.com/the GA podcast. You can go to our YouTube page, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. You can watch this show on video form. I'll try and put some gameplay up this week of Dead by Daylight. I got some Satisfactory stuff on there. And I might have recorded some Fall Guys. I think I recorded some Fall Guys as well. So I'll put that up there as well. You can watch Joab running around frantically in Satisfactory and Dead by Daylight. It's all good.
Sweet.
Good stuff.
Beautiful.
Yep. You can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all the things we just talked about on the show, including past episodes, if you want to go check them out. That is all thanks to our Patreon members who help support the show. If you'd like to do that, you can go to patreon.com/thegapodcast. Thank you to everyone that supports us, helps us pay the bills. And
thanks so much.
Absolutely. I think that is it. You got anything you want to pimp out for this week you've been working on?
Checking my Fall Guys review. It's a goof review. I said this a couple of times. Just sort of a review of every level. But
it's on the Gap website.
I don't know. I think there's a bit of insight. And I think it's good. It's on the Gap website. And by the time you listen to this, I may have actually fucking finished my Dead by Daylight review, but we'll have to fucking see. I'm going to rewrite fucking chunks of it. Check that out.
Has it gone from a 6 to a 10 now?
Episode. Hey?
Has it now gone from a 6 to a 10 because they've removed the broken part?
All the way up.
They knew it was coming.
One thing was broken. They're like,
they had an inside tip.
Doing this shit, they fucking ruining us again. And by the time before next week's episode, but after this one comes out, I think head to OzGamers and Red Bull, and you'll be able to see my thoughts on how Sam Fisher plays in the new Rainbow Six Siege update.
With these goggles that can see through walls?
I fucking nearly fucking bit. Anyway, you got anything left?
No, you can find me twitter.com/Luke Lawrie, Lawrie. That's it. I got nothing happening. That's the show.
Cool.
See you next week.
That's it.